but Bills at the same time, it was just amazing just watching her just point it out. She was like, the first thing she pointed out was sliding.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, there it is again. I see it. Like everything was just it's like, and then she brought up something I didn't even think about, and I wonder, have you noticed lag? And like I'm playing the mom. Oh, you have?
I have. Yeah, I have to a certain extent. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she was noticing the lag and reaction time and stuff like that as far as like each individual player. So it was just like,
has she played?
She was like, did you see
basketball?
that?
Did she play? No. Did she play basketball? No.
Okay. No, she's not. One, she's not a gamer. I think I'm trying to remember.
Wait, you're talking about your experience. You're talking about recently playing live NBA 2K19, right?
Yeah, I had my league playing in the background, and she was just like picking it apart.
Oh, okay.
Like she even brought up missing lines of code. I know, right?
That's crazy.
She doesn't play video games, but she was like, and then her overall assessment, they were being lazy.
I mean, I enjoy the game. I get it, but
really, see, that's the thing. Really, it's not like it's not saying that it's a bad game. And she said the same. And she said the same thing. It's like it's not a bad game. It's just being a little lazy. She started looking at the hair, how that was designed. She was really appalled by that. So yeah, I'm like, she was just like, yeah, it looks like it seems like a good game. I'm like, graphics seem okay, but I think they could have worked on it a little bit better. Especially with sliding and the lag.
And see, that's the thing.
Y'all want to start the podcast, or y'all gonna?
I mean, I guess you already did.
I mean, nah. They're here. They'll be all right.
Okay.
So anyway,
NBA 2K.
But I mean, the thing is, like, what she said about the hair is definitely true. But it just goes to show, it's like, just imagine like all the games in the past, basketball wise, and this is the best that we've gotten. It just shows everybody's like, I don't know what they could work on. There's plenty of stuff they could work on.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm outside of the Dwayne Wade cover. I have no reason to buy 2K20 right now.
Then why would you? That doesn't make.
Then why would I what?
You say you buy it for the cover.
Yeah. I like that cover.
So you would spend $60 just on the cover alone? Is that what you're saying?
No,
that one would be $100 though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. And to be honest, I would.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm not saying I would, but I'm saying that is a very attractive cover.
You just sat there and said, and it's recorded, that you would get it just for the cover alone.
He said the only reason he would be. He's not saying he would. He's just saying they give no reason for him to buy it.
Exactly. I'm not saying I'm out to shell out $100 for a Dwayne Wade cover. I say that's like the only reason I would buy it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
you shell out a lot more for stuff like that. For a collector's item.
Yeah, I mean, no. Let's back up. I don't buy like stuff like that as a collector's item. I buy games that I'm going to play. But I'm just saying, I don't see a reason to play 2K20 right now.
This is the one thing I'll say, a reason that I'm going to buy it automatically, and it's the fact that the WNBA is in the game.
Well, not only that, the roster set up now. You got so many teams going so many places. I mean, so many players going to so many teams.
Yeah, but I mean, the WNBA is the most enticing to me because I have a really good suspicion that they're going to put a My League for them in.
Okay.
And I hope they do.
And
that would be a wrap for live.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the live, they even confirmed that Doncic is a cover athlete?
I don't even think they confirmed the game. I haven't heard nothing.
The one little bit I keep hearing is about body types, but hey, we got a running start this week, so let's go.
Yeah. Because I mean, I want to go ahead and get into these ratings and what we heard about Madden 20 so far today. I didn't watch the live stream. I got all my news from you guys in the DM, but I'm going to share my thoughts as well.
Spoiler for the folks. Most of that from the Madden 20 stream will be positive.
All right, Chris Thomas, what's going on? I know there's other people in here listening to us as well. A little bit of behind the scenes. We talked a little ad-libbing about NBA 2K19 and what DJ and his significant other was experiencing. It's all good. What's up, Doug Thomas? This is episode 76 of the First and Framerates Podcast. And guess what? I think it is tomorrow. It'll be 2 years that First and Framerates has launched. So it's like the 2-year anniversary of First and Framerates. So that's
funny.
Yeah, I know, right? It's great news there. So 2 years strong, up and running, and even after a 6-month hiatus, we still doing pretty good, bringing the best content possible. Just being honest with our content, not trying to give you any gimmicks or nothing crazy going on. Just straight up good commentary about sports and sports gaming. Today we're going to talk about, like I said, the rating system, because I know DJ and Bills was talking about how everybody was in a tizzy about these ratings. Madden 20 news with the live stream today. I know TD was here last week and came up with a great topic that we're going to use, athletes that we hate. And once again, I came up with a topic that these guys may not know about GameStop. And the reason why I put that out there, because the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox, is going to be using physical media. So that's going to give GameStop a few, maybe 3 to 5 more years of life because of physical media. And we're going to talk about what we think about that. DJ, I'm gonna let you go first. What has been going on with you this week?
Well, nothing much. Still doing my training thing. I had to understand my own limits though, because my knee swelled up. So
you pulling the bike line?
No. First of all, that man had 2 knee surgeries. I have had none.
Oh, so you
have all my original parts.
You pulled a 21.
How can I pull a 21? I still have my ACLs.
At least you're back.
Between the two of them, they have no ACLs.
Well, at least I
have both of mine.
Well, at least you're back with more content.
Oh, see.
Oh, God.
What about you, Bills? What's been going on? Well, Bills have changed this Twitter again. I was
going to say. So, yeah. So after doing some thinking, I was thinking about how unfair it was for the people who followed me originally for much like, the content that we do on the show. So I thought, I'll just make another Twitter somewhere down the road, and I'll continue to post about things that we talk about on here and, stuff like that, instead of just completely changing up and abandoning basically all my followers. So, yeah, I'm back. So, no filter for now, no filter for now.
Okay. No,
until the manager steps in.
My manager ain't gonna step in. Nobody knows who I am right now, which is the best part about it.
Man, I can imagine people complaining about you. If it was all of a sudden you'll say something that would just like get under their skin. They're like, "Let me speak to your manager." Like, I am the manager.
Hey, right. First off, my manager has just as small a filter as I do. So
I could tell. I took one look at her. I was like, yeah, she probably fly out with anything out of her mouth.
All right, so I changed your Twitter handle again back in, so everybody knows it's now Bill's Fourth once again. Izzy came through. Izzy saying if you wear a backpack, if you're over 30, and come on, man, you got to come up with that.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Yeah.
That was,
right.
I still use a backpack. I'm approaching 40. Izzy and I are like the same age. Like VF, Izzy, myself, Bills is the outlier, but his soul is along with us.
Right.
Around the same age. So it's one of those things where we all probably still wear backpacks in our, because
I drive trucks. I have so much stuff I have to carry. Like I have to carry like headache medicine. I have to carry my logs to let people know when I'm driving. I need certain tools if something's going wrong with the truck. Well, I have a lot of stuff I have to carry. So it's like,
here's my question. What are you supposed to carry? A satchel?
I don't know. He probably carries a purse, as far as I know. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he carries a purse.
Well, I read through that tweet for context, and I'm sure he's just talking about to the office, in which Izzy can directly go against that because Izzy works in the office. Yeah, so it's just like,
my thing with him is, okay, when you put a tweet,
a man purse.
Hold on. Before you say what you about to say, Bills, I want people to know, like people just listening and not know. There's a guy on Twitter just saying like if you're over 30 and wearing a backpack, something's wrong with you. He's saying that backpacks are for children, and he's basically getting flamed on Twitter right now. And
yeah,
so in my profession, I use one, like I said earlier. So Bills, go ahead.
No, so basically, yeah, he went and said that, and then he wanted to clarify after talking about, I ruffled feathers. No, you said something on Twitter, and that was the tweet that caught wind, and you came back and tried to make up for it, no, you sound like an idiot, and you look like a freaking late night talk show host whose damn show didn't make it past the pilot. But I'm not gonna get past that. I'll just.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no point in continuing to go in on him.
Yeah, that's it. I'm not even going to show the tweet. I mean, you can go look him up. I really don't care. But Izzy was talking about him on Twitter. I had to say what I had to say. Bill said what he had to say.
I'm sure the Wi-Fi is really fast in his grandmother's basement.
Right. Well, no, not even like that. He's probably stealing it from somebody next door.
Look at the room he's sitting in, for Christ's sakes. Like, how can you talk trash sitting in that?
He has Fantastic Four as his banner on his Twitter. Bro, he got in there to talk about kids.
He's sitting in a clearance sale Staples chair. But he's talking about what grown men are doing. Like, bro, if you don't sit down somewhere.
Right, Izzy said it. He has Fantastic Four on his profile background. He got in there to talk about us.
Man, please.
Well, anyway, I'll look at this. We have other stuff that we could possibly show, or somebody not really overstepping their bounds, but being in places where they shouldn't be. We'll get to that.
Yeah. Anyway, Madden 20 news. First of all, the ratings came out. The rating system came out for Madden, and 2K tried to do their own thing of competing with that, to showing ratings of their basketball players, which was kind of clever on NBA 2K's part. But at the end of the day, they're apples and oranges when it comes to sports. And on top of that, it does create, controversy, and it creates dialogue for both games. It's great. But I know DJ and Bills is really talking about the problems that people are having with the rating system, and they're not getting it. People are bent out of shape. I think they're out of shape. I think they're bent out of shape over nothing. And I didn't address it as much as they did, but I know they're way more opinionated than I am. So I'm gonna let you guys take the floor on this, and then I'll give my commentary behind it.
You can go first, DJ, if you want.
All right. Well, leading off the bat, number 10, DJ. All right. So my main issue with this whole ratings, whenever it comes out, people get bent out of shape. Oh, my favorite players should be rated 87. And then the NFL players are chiming in. Oh, my speed is faster than that. I'm stronger than that. Some of the players even like their rating. They feel like it fits. Either way, I think it's all dumb. Because first of all, on the user side, you can eventually, once you get the game, because as much as everybody in each realm complains about their ratings and whatever, they will get the game and they will play it, and they will eventually find their way into the roster editing aspect. The game has the ability to change the ratings if you so desire. So I feel like this is pointless. Every single year, I'm gonna get my Aaron Boone on. Bills, you sent that in the DMs. Get my Aaron Boone on, and it was like, if you don't like the ratings, change it in the roster edit.
Right.
That's my main thing. It's just it gets tiring. I'm sitting there, I'm just watching it, just watching people just fall apart on Twitter. It's dumb, it's pointless, it's idiotic. It just, all the words in the Webster's dictionary I could find, they're synonyms for everything I've just said. It's just dumb. And everybody should be ashamed of yourselves, because you can change them. Once you get the game, you can change them, and that's it.
Right. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Bills?
Well, I just find it funny that every year there's a ratings release, and every year there's a complaint, and people still haven't learned.
Well,
it's like every single year. Like this isn't the first time that Madden's shown ratings. This isn't the first time that 2K has shown ratings. Yet every single year we have this same hoopla from the offline and the online gamers alike. Maybe not so much from the offline gamers, but still it's there. And it's like, y'all don't get that half of this stuff they do just so you can respond? and complain. I mean, the 2K account was liking people's tweets that were complaining about it.
Just so other people can see it and clown them so they can go back and forth.
Yes. Because the more press, here's the thing. Negative press is irrelevant to 2K because they have such a loyal fan base and they bring in new casual fans every year to the point where they grow their fan base regardless. So the people who don't care about those ratings and they just want to play the game because it's a great game, they clearly outweigh the people who are sitting there complaining about ratings. Yeah. And it's like I said, it's funny to me because like DJ said, you can go in and change the ratings if you're an offline gamer. If you're an online gamer, you're gonna play the game anyway, so I don't know why you complain.
But if you're an online gamer, you're kind of stuck to the ratings that they have. So I don't see where my thing is these ratings don't necessarily hinder a player unless it's egregiously wrong.
I was getting to that. Then when you look at it from the perspective of, well, I don't like how this person's overall rating is so low, you have to look at their specific ratings, their individual ratings, and play the game also because like NY Kia said, he's still taking a lower rated overall Aaron Rodgers over any quarterback in the game. That says something. We've all played the beta. We know how lethal these quarterbacks can be, regardless of their overall ratings. And it's even more of an indication of that because those ratings weren't even final in the beta.
Well, I mean,
a lot of guys' ratings went up.
But Bills, this is what I don't understand. This is one thing I liked about the NCAA team compared to the Madden team. Their rating system, for some reason, in the NCAA was so more detailed than Madden, even though they basically was along the same lines. Mm-hmm. But it meant something when you had man coverage versus, their overall. If the overall was like a 74, but their man coverage was, let's say, an 88, but they lacked in everything else, that man coverage is still going to outshine. It's going to shine what they do. In Madden, up until maybe Madden 20, because it's changed. Because it changed, Madden always kind of had a struggle with it was all about the overall. And I think this is why they had a new system to where the ratings are lower, but other things are going to make them significant. That's why they saw something like an 88. What was like an 88? Who was the 88 they were talking about that was significant in other areas? Just because he's 88, that doesn't mean he's one of the top players, but he's better at. Yeah, I saw what it was. I saw the player, but I can't remember what it was. Who it was, I mean. But that 88 does not mean that he doesn't excel at other areas in the game.
Well, here's the other thing.
As far as his skill set.
Here's the other thing. The folks who played the beta, they know that all this is a bunch of hoopla because the ratings, the way they do them now, like, I know they talked about the Pro Bowl a little bit. We'll get to that stream. But they talked about the Pro Bowl. I guess the guys were kind of OP. But when you went in the franchise and played against a team that had those type of players, there was such a discrepancy in talent level. Mm-hmm. And even with the players who weren't rated crazy high, there was still a discrepancy with those star players and, lower tier players. So I think people really need to get over it because the individual ratings are the ones that really affect gameplay, not the overall ratings. That's just window dressing.
See that and that's the way it's supposed to be. That's what I'm saying. What Madden is doing now, I know at least for certain. I can't speak for NCAA 14, even though I have dwelled in it for 6 years. I know for certain back in the PlayStation 2 and original Xbox days, individual things that the players did mattered. Like the speed, they can't catch worth a damn. But if the ball is in their hand and they got good speed, it's a wrap. If they can cover, but they can't keep up with somebody, you put them in zone. It will matter. And I think that's what Madden is trying to do. And that's at the end of the day, that's one of the essential things that makes players different from one another.
Oh, but here's one thing. Two more things. So the thing that Greg said, homeboy from the stream, I don't know exactly what his title was at EA, but I guess he had something to do with the presentation side, and he also talked about the ratings, I think. What he spoke about was interesting because he said that this year Well, maybe it was Swami. Either way, whoever it was talking about the ratings, they said something very interesting because they said basically what's going to happen is the lower rated rookies that are rated lower than certain veterans they're going to progress quicker and their rating's going to go up quicker. So those rookies that should be getting the playing time will. I think that changes the dynamic in franchise now to where it should be. And he also talked about the fact that the teams don't always rely on the overall rating when making decisions as far as their roster is concerned. And we saw that in franchise. Even in the beta, we saw it. We saw Eli Manning be the highest rated quarterback on his team and he got released. And it happened in y'all's franchise, but it actually didn't happen in mine. So there is some type of dynamic there. Like I said, we'll get to that stream in a second. But I think folks really need to let go of that whole Madden situation. As far as 2K is concerned, I think people need to focus on the fact that the tendencies come out wrong every year. That's why you're playing the type of game you're playing.
But you know what? I mean, that's just basic overall. This is, I mean, what 2K did was just a basic overall what these players could be. And it turned into a bunch of people, white knighting for their favorite player, thinking that they should be higher or well, basically higher. Because I don't never really anybody said that their player should be lower, but that's all that was. And that was just 2K getting in on the big thing that Madden was doing. And that's the type of stuff we'd like to see. Now, we wish it was 2 football games doing it, but that's another story for another day. But the fact that they're doing that, I think is brilliant. Now, does it help in the long run? We won't know until 2K20 comes out.
That's what I'm saying is I think folks need to focus more on the fact that the ratings most times in 2K are pretty legit most times. But the issue is the tendencies. Because we have a game in front of us where you can actually edit the tendencies and the developers edit the tendencies and they come out bad every year, I think that's more of an indication of where the game is than the damn overall ratings. I mean, but then again, you're talking about folks who don't even know that there are tendencies in the game.
Yeah.
Because they don't play offline and they don't care. Because who cares how the computer plays? I play online. Okay, well.
But see, this is the thing. Just like what Izzy said, offline over online. And I will take that any day. Don't get me wrong. I like playing against, I don't like, but I understand why people play against other people. It's a competitive nature. But especially people that's here in this podcast, and I know most people who listen to us pretty much align with us. It's nothing like just playing the game as close as what you see on Sundays with nobody on the other end trying to cheese you. The server's not acting up, or the server's acting up, or just the game is not working because of the connection's bad. You just want a decent game where you use your football, basketball, baseball, whatever, you use your skill set or what you know about the sport to beat the CPU. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I think it's a very challenging when a developer can make the game like that.
It's how the game is meant to be played.
Right. That's how I feel. I've never seen a game outside of a shooter that can actually account for all the other stuff that's so intricate in a sports title. It's so many things got to work right just offline alone. Now you want to add a server, somebody else's console, and then you want to talk about 2 different internet connections. Good luck. But like that online offline thing that's a totally different issue. B5 is here. He said he always wondered how rookies were rated when they never played unless they use their college or previous stats. That's a good question because I don't know. I know that it was kind of weird how they did when you imported draft classes over. I thought that was kind of weird because I know some players I remember at least on the PS2 days, some players would end up drafting like high 80s. And they were pretty good in college, but when they imported them over, they were drafted pretty high. But I don't know how they.
It's because EA's algorithm, has more things mean more than others. Like, for example, they talked about how speed isn't nearly a factor the way it used to be. So, back then, your grades based on the combine would really affect how high or low your rating was, and then your positional grades or ratings, they could be hit or miss. So I think they've changed the algorithm, so it actually is kind of interesting. But I know back then that's pretty much what it was, because you had guys like Jacoby Ford come out of college and they're rated pretty high, and we all knew he sucked, but because he was so fast and agile and his acceleration was high, he was one of the higher rated rookies.
And that's what I was saying. I think it was a speed thing back then.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird.
Speed and strength and jumping and all the athletic ratings.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just curious how this is going to play out for Madden because especially how they changed the ratings. Like I know NYK was saying it the other earlier today. Oh no, he said it yesterday. The first thing he's doing once he get on EA Access, he's definitely going to practice, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going right back to practice. That's basically what I did in Madden beta, the Madden 20 beta. I was in practice pretty much like 95% of the time because I knew none of my stuff was going to be saved over to the neck when Madden came out. So I just wanted to learn the game, and now I'm going to do that all over again. So that's going to be interesting. Speaking of learning the game, the live stream tried to teach us something today. I didn't watch it. I was at work, but I got all my information from my co-host. And I'm going to let DJ, what were your thoughts from the live stream if you watched it, or what was your takeaway from all the information that came out?
Well, I like the fact that they didn't touch pass rush. They didn't touch the throwing animations. They kept it where it was. Clint was emphatic about it. Looked into what he I didn't catch it when he did it, but he looked into the camera and said this.
Yeah.
So
he said it was some conviction.
Yeah. So he was looking serious throughout that whole live stream. He was like mugging the host and mugging everybody, but he's just focused. It's like his game face.
Though. I don't know. He seemed kind of ornery. I don't know if it was. I mean, I know he was focused. He seemed kind of ornery though. I don't know.
Yeah, but they talked about man coverage on defense. They talked about the fact that they did what they did as far as an adjustment, and it's basically the wide receivers, the lower rated wide receivers, just to show that certain wide receivers that had that trait that could break off routes, or not break off routes, but break an angle off their routes, whether it be like a flag, post, whatever, a greater separation between those and the reactions of the DBs off of those. Also, there was a little detail about reacting to routes that cut short after press animation. So I know they brought that up. They said that that's much improved as far as that's concerned. One interesting tidbit, and I think it's leading towards more user control, and probably wind up with the halfback, was the tight end, being able to release the tight end on your own whenever they call them the blue routes, but basically it's like when the tight end is blocking and then he releases. Before, you used to have to guess according to, I guess, the awareness of the tight end when they would release. But what Clint had mentioned was that the responsiveness to that button, I forgot what button he said you could press, but you would press it, and depending on that player's awareness would be the response time. Like there'll be it's kind of like a built-in lag. Like if he's highly aware, he'll respond right away. But if he has a low awareness, it may be a millisecond or 2 or 3 before he actually does what you commanded him to do. And I feel like that's going to spread to the halfbacks because they have to check and release hot route or route that they have. And I feel like the same principle will take place there. So I really did like that. That's giving players more user control. So I like that aspect. I think the main negative, and it really is about presentation, is that it's a minimalist presentation. It doesn't. I don't see it. They said they don't want to linger too much, and it's the whole. What is it, like quicker to fun or whatever their motto is or whatever. But right. I don't like the fact that they are skimping on the presentation aspect. And other than some cool cutscenes that they confirmed, that was especially that Tom Brady, I got missed on the high five, so I'm gonna high five the teammate next to me. That's confirmed as a cutscene in the game. But again, personally, I don't like those canned cutscenes.
The canned cutscenes that makes
I hate those.
It doesn't seem like it's on the fly. Just like it just shows up. Yeah,
right. I know 2K has them, but it's just like I hate the fact that when Madden does it, everyone's the same height. That bothers me a great deal, and it just pulls me away from the whole presentation aspect. So that was the big thing, because I'm looking at what NHL is doing presentation wise. They're actually moving, and I think we're going to talk about NHL, but I'm gonna just one little tidbit about NHL. They are going away from the NBC broadcast package, and they have some, and it seems like it looks a little arcadey, but it has a little pop to their presentation, along with adopting Madden's commentary. So that's pretty much what I got from the stream.
What were your thoughts about the stream, Bills?
Well, I like the fact that they added more scenarios, because I know me and GJ were talking about that as far as franchise is concerned. I'm interested to see exactly what scenarios they're going to add, because that's going to play a big role into the replayability of franchise, obviously. So I definitely like that. That was good to hear. It obviously was a good sign that they aren't going to touch the two things that a lot of casuals were bitching about, which were throwing animations in the pass rush. So those two not being touched is a good thing. I don't like the fact they didn't touch zones. Zone was hit or miss as far as I was concerned, and they still need to fix the cover two, because once again, the guys are not jamming on the line every time in cover two when they're supposed to. What else?
Let me tell you, man, zone in any Madden or EA Sports title has not been good since NCAA 12 pre-patch. And once they patched that game, it has not been the same since. The zones in that game were very good.
Well, I'll say they nerfed it a couple years ago too. It was good at launch. I think it was no.
Oh, it wasn't 16. Was it?
No,
it had to be 16 or 17.
I think 17. Yeah. And then they nerfed it. But yeah. So as far as the presentation is concerned, I do like the cutscenes. I mean, yeah, like the cutscenes are definitely a welcome addition. I don't really like how they're skimping on the presentation, I guess, but at the same time, we're going to see a lot of things on the fly after the play ends that are going to be a lot more, a lot more intuitive and a lot more just on the fly and dynamic. So I like that. What else? The block and release is a good feature. I'm glad that they didn't just say we're not changing the pass rush, you're going to have to deal with it. They actually put something in that people can, if they want to, learn how to use, and they'll be able to stop some of those pass rushers. They really have no reason to bitch at this point. It's either adapt or perish, as Triple H would say. I mean, as far as, I don't really have too many negatives from the stream other than the fact that they didn't touch zone, but like I said, I'm going to make a roster, and until they overhaul it, I guess I'm just going to have to work with what's there.
All right, I'm gonna give you my thoughts. Like, I didn't watch the stream, but like I said, I got pretty much the gist of everything in the first and Framerates direct messaging. I mean, you guys pretty much put everything out there of what I saw. From what I hear, it sounds good. Look like everything that's in the beta is gonna. Oh yeah, I play NHL. Yeah, I play NHL a lot. B5.
Thanks to me.
Yeah, if it wasn't for DJ, I mean, I'll probably still be playing NHL. Well, even before then, I was on NHL 2K5 very briefly until DJ really taught me the game or whatever. So, yeah.
But why don't we just say this? As far as the sim football community, I've been the one that's exposed many people to NHL. So I will take all the credit.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
And from what I got, my only issue with Madden 20, I had two. Maybe it was just me. I still didn't like the fact you couldn't wait a minute. I know this fool didn't jump in here. I know this fool didn't just jump into this live stream. Finally, after the second time, you've been begging.
Yeah, I came and crashed the party. I just ghost in and out.
Man, let me tell y'all something. We gave NY Kia a key to the house a long time ago, and he ain't never come in.
at least episode 30.
Yeah,
at least episode 30.
And he's bypassing the Sim standard for this, or maybe you got a different window up.
I'm the Al Heyman of the Sim community. you don't see me, you don't hear me. I pop in when least expected.
Oh, man.
I see. Well, I'm definitely gonna get your thoughts about the live stream, but I'm gonna give my two things I'll take away from it. And like I said, I had a problem with the stiff arm, and maybe that'll change once we play the full game. And the game was a little bit too smooth. That felt like nobody was on the ground at times. The game moved very smooth. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, because you want the responsiveness, but I still want that grit of you actually on the field and have a little weight to yourself as you hit somebody on the field. Outside of that, I have no complaints about what I've heard. I'm actually impressed with what I heard and what I've seen, but I just want the game now. So I'm waiting. It's a couple of weeks, and I'm just gonna keep it that brief. I got EA access on PC. I don't know if we get it earlier before the guys on consoles like we did last year, but it does. Nevertheless, I just can't wait.
Well, I got a question for y'all though, and I'm gonna ask Kia first.
No. Before you do that, I want
it's tied into Madden, so he can.
I really want his thoughts about the live stream first.
Let's go ahead.
So what were your thoughts about the stream?
Well, there were a couple of things that I was going to be worried about going in. One was the pass rush. Mm-hmm. That needed to stay the way it was. The only thing that I would have maybe changed was the amount of instant wins once the X Factor guys get going. But other than that, the rush needed to stay. Mm-hmm. And the biggest reason why it needed to stay was, twofold. One, I think that combined with the QB throwing motions will cover up what I expect to be a ton of zone bugs still in the game when the game launches. The fact that they mentioned that they left the zones pretty much unchanged leads me to believe that there's going to be either a day one patch or a patch a couple of weeks in to address those issues, because I know that I left multiple pages of feedback as far as zone bugs are concerned.
Yes, you did.
And I don't want to have a game where we're forced to just play man coverage. I was happy that they did not nerf man. People that were complaining about man coverage, that tells you that you're dealing with people that have never played a Madden where you could use man coverage.
Amen to that.
If you want to talk man coverage being overpowered, let me go back to NCAA 8, 9, 10, when they were mirroring routes all over the field.
Hell, 14
yeah, 14 isn't as bad compared to those.
No. Back then it was terrible. I agree.
But back then, all you needed to do is sit in 2-man under and man blitz, and you can play lockdown defense.
Yeah.
But what I like a lot is that Clint and the devs, they seem to be putting the onus on the user to get better and adjust to the game. Mm-hmm. Which is something we haven't had in a very long time. I can't remember the last time.
No, I'm going to tell you right now.
A dev came up and said, you know what? We're not touching pass rushes. We're not touching ball trajectory. We're not touching QB releases.
I'm going to tell you the last time.
Figure it out.
I'm going to tell you the last time that it happened. And y'all know I'm a historian of football game, and I'm not the best football game.
Oh, yeah. You have a whole room dedicated to all that.
Yeah. And let me tell you the last time I heard a dev or a company said, shut up or adapt. Go back to NFL 2K3 in the instruction manual, and they said if you can't perform your best on the field, well, either adapt or put the game down. I promise you, it's in the instruction manual. Now I kid you not. That's the closest thing. It's in the instruction manual.
Well, here's what's funny. I was playing NFL 2K3 the other day because I have it on Xbox, and I did notice that, but MLB The Show did something similar.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah,
they said, hitting is hard for you. Well, find another baseball game. Oops, there's not another one out there. So I mean,
there's always an RBI baseball. You can play.
Right, you can play RBI baseball. RBI.
You can dust off one of the old 2K baseballs.
Right. Yeah. Good luck with that.
I know, right?
You can have fun pitching, but that's about it, you know.
But what MLB does though, what that Madden still does not do, as far as having users either adapt or build themselves up. MLB The Show, they at least give you gameplay options where you can choose easier interfaces. To that fit your skill level. Madden is still kind of either you have comp mode, you have sim mode, which is kind of like comp mode, but not really, but still kind of like comp mode. And then arcade is useless. So the Madden still is in this state where it's a precarious balance, because we can be 3-4 weeks into the game, and then all of a sudden comp guys can bitch, casual guys can bitch, and we're right back into the patch cycle. So the most important time for this Madden game will be from next week until September, the first 4 weeks of the game. Whether we're going to be enjoying this feel good, hey, everything sounds great, we're not going to be tuning the game that much to a damn patch fest again.
And I think that's what's great about not just MLB but also 2K, the fact that they're so comfortable with putting out the game and saying, okay, like we know what we've put out. We know what we put out is a really good game. So now it's up to you to adjust to what we've done, and we're going to give you the tools to use a different interface. For example, 2K with the passing, they kind of snuck those passing interfaces in, and folks didn't really notice it. As far as directional, and I think openness is another one. So they're putting things in, like you said, different interfaces for people that can't necessarily use the default ones. They can use different types of button configurations. So I do think that once Madden, I think they're kind of getting there now where they're comfortable with the game they put out, and then just like, look, we've worked hard, and this is how we want the game to be, and deal with it, or play another game.
It should have been like this from day one, to be honest with you.
That's what I'm talking
for a while.
I mean, I would say since Madden 17, it probably should have been like that. 16, you could have had a gripe with the aggressive catching, so you could say that's game break.
I was gonna go back and say 25, but I'm not mad at that. 17.
Well, if you skip
Madden 17 is a good comparison, because Madden 17 is the last time I felt this optimistic about the game at launch.
Yeah.
Remember the first couple weeks of Madden 17? That was a great game.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree.
Because everybody said, without the rat catching in 16, it basically would have been 17. They kind of fixed some bugs, but 17, they didn't add anything too crazy. They just kind of changed the aggressive catches where, Danny Amendola is not making one-handed ODB catches.
Right.
But, I was going to ask y'all about the RPM, because it seems like, I don't know if it's all the time, but definitely on kickoffs, I noticed that the foot planning is really willy-nilly. Did y'all notice that?
I think that just goes back to the mechanic. Well, I ain't gonna say the mechanic. It's just the way the game is built this year. Like I said, the game feels too smooth. That's just me. I mean, it
moves like NCAA 14.
Right. It feels way too the weight of the game has kind of been lifted. And I don't know if that's good or bad. It's just because you want that responsiveness, but then again, you're losing the feel of actually running the football or moving around.
I'm thinking part of it is the fact they took out game speeds, because I would naturally be playing on slow right now.
Yeah, because you know what? The one thing, and I'm just going back to the overall aspect of the team just concentrating on offense and defense. When's the real last time special teams has really been worked on, as far as your running lanes when the gunners are flying down the field, kickoffs, maintain lane integrity, as far as the blocking and how you're able to spring either kickoff returns for touchdowns, or how all that forms. It seems like that still has not been touched.
I think they secretly worked on it last year, but I think the issue is the fact that the only one that really works is the middle kick return. As far as
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I agree with you there. I think they somewhat worked on it last year, because I could tell it was a bit harder to break those long punts. But that's the defensive side. So offensively, I definitely get what you're saying.
But here's the thing.
I didn't see much difference. I thought the returning kicks, you can return the kickoffs, left and right. all day long in Madden 19 at least.
Yeah,
because I always felt like you just have to follow that. I kind of seen it as a blueprint. You always go middle. If you already selected kick return right or left, you just start middle to set everybody up, and then
you just find your lane.
Yeah, there isn't really lane integrity on kickoff returns. At least on kick coverage in Madden, like Pete just said it best. It's like it's kill the carrier, fine ball, see ball, fine ball.
Yeah,
you can just go in the middle of the wedge and bounce it out.
Yeah, I mean, NY Kid can speak for this. I mean, that's what we do in NCAA 14, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, the one thing I did notice, and I talked about this when we initially played the beta, and I think NY Kid might remember me tweeting this out. There was one time where Hollywood Sports asked why there was a speed parity in the game.
I thought you was about to talk about that.
No, I'm not even going there. But I'm not even going there, man. Leave that man alone.
I left that one alone.
And you better, because you don't have the right. You do understand that, right?
That entire debate was a pillow fight.
No, what you about to say?
Well, no. So yeah, he asked. It was a good question. He asked why the speed parity slider was in the game. I feel like this year is the first year where you can kind of keep it at default, because it seems like the angles that defenders take are way better. I was finding myself breaking way less unrealistic runs to the outside. I was seeing guys naturally being in better and more logical position on defense. Was it just me? Do y'all notice that?
Yeah, I think again it's the way the game is moving. It's moving so much. It's moving smoother, so they tend to look like they're moving like real people. Like during the beta,
that is true. I do agree with that.
During the beta, when guys tried to base a line, I would audible right to an RPO, and their guy couldn't get out and reach it for once.
Right.
So stuff like that has the game moving, a lot more, fluid. Like people are concerned with the QB releases about being blitzed heavy. What I don't think people are keeping in mind is that there are short routes you can throw now that you had to wait to develop a lot longer. You can snap throw a stick route now and a table route now, which when you couldn't before. You had to wait for the guy to get into his route and make that stupid elongated turn. Yeah. Now they're running it much more crisply, so you can get the ball out when you're getting blitz heavy, and it just makes the game feel like it makes the field feel a little bit bigger. Before it felt all cramped up because you had guys just all clustered and lollygagging and taking false steps. It's so much more smoother that it looks like it's going faster on default, I think.
Yeah, because I noticed that playing like for example, I played with the Chiefs, and of course they have a lot of quick receivers at the line, and last year quick slants was like deadly with them. This year it seems like the DB takes a better angle. He kind of, I don't say accept the fact you're going to catch it, but if you do catch it, he's in position to make the tackle. Instead of Tyreek Hill catching it and takes off 90 yards, it seems like just naturally, like you said, they're in better position because of the way the game speed is moving. And just, I think they're smarter about the angles that they take for sure. And also, even the angles that they engage in the tackle are better this year.
That's one thing. Like,
I would agree. There's not as many broken tackles and just those ugly gang tackles.
Right. Where they kind of slide in position.
It's like everybody bouncing off or everybody just falling down. Like now it looks like tackling, That's one thing like NYK said, like even though my issue with the way the game feels, there are a lot of animations in the game now that they do look like real people. And I think that is something that is very, very important that a lot of people are going to either overlook or, they're just not going to care because they see what's going on. Those attention to details is something that caught my eye as well. I really love the fact that the animations in the game are true to what you really see on Sundays. I got a quick question that Chris Thomas put out, and I'm pretty sure that we all could answer this one. He put in the chat, how do y'all think that people are going to react to the lurking user linebacker being limited now? And I know that's something that's been a thorn in everybody's side for at least the last 5 games. Anybody?
Well, I've already had DM conversations with people saying that they're going to be moving off the linebacker and controlling defensive backs because they can't influence as many plays as they used to because the ball's going over their head, or they're not getting the benefit of those suction picks when you're just trailing or just late.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
Yeah, it is.
It's a huge change.
I mean, we didn't get those type of throws over the linebacker's head. It got a little bit of it in Madden 16 because he had the touch pass, or you can press the left shoulder button. And even before then, it was PS2 Madden when you can do that. So that it's a big deal for it to be like normal now.
It reminded me a bit of Madden 10. You know, when you could place a pass in Madden 10 and the DBs had that sort of out of reach animation, and they had a bunch of them in the game too.
Right.
Yeah.
Sort of out of reach animation. It kind of reminded me of that, where I was placing certain passes. And the thing is, every quarterback can't do it, which is the great thing about it. Every quarterback can't do it. There's
a lot of things that certain quarterbacks can't do in this game, from what I hear, and I hope it stays that way.
Well, see,
there are still defenders that can do it, but it's maybe like two of them. Like Bobby Wagner can get there.
I think it's like Kuechly and Wagner are the two linebackers, I believe, that they said.
I think they associated that with their traits.
Yeah,
and not necessarily like their ratings.
Abilities.
Right.
Yeah,
Bobby Wagner's the only linebacker that has a lockdown coverage ability, so he'll get more of those. His hands on more of those balls.
I can't remember. Did Deion Jones got anything? Because he's the type of player that can do it, but I didn't see any trait.
That's a good question.
Because naturally he has that type of knack as a middle linebacker, but I haven't seen anything. And
the way EA hates the Falcons, he probably doesn't. I mean, they took a complete dump on your boy Matt Ryan. They took a crap on him.
Man, it's terrible. He had the same type of stats he had in the MVP season this year, and they gave an 88 or 87. But I mean,
I don't know if y'all
89 and 2 abilities.
Well, I don't know if y'all noticed, but Darius Leonard was the leader in tackles last year, and he's an 82? That was the only overall rating I was like, whoa, that's kind of low.
Yeah, I think I'm very curious to see how these ratings are going to play out once I get my hands on the game, because I'm not a ratings person, but the way they did this mechanic, I'm just curious to see how it will play out.
Yeah.
Now I got one last thing, and it was actually one of the first things from playing the beta, just looking at the rosters. I wonder how everybody feels about the offensive linemen just only having abilities and no zone abilities.
Didn't they say they're going to add them?
I think they said
I hope they are, because I'm looking at Trent Williams and I'm just like, he should have his own ability, no doubt. I'm like his ability is fine and it serves its purpose, but then it's just like, there's got to be a point, the next question for me would be like, okay, how could a zone ability for an offensive lineman trigger? Would it be after, so many snaps without giving up a sack that all of a sudden he's like Fort Knox as far as a trait? So it's one of those things. And then the only way that he can, but the thing is, how would he break that zone ability? I think that's a question and a scenario that is probably like they're bouncing back and forth with each other down in Orlando.
But that's a travesty, like what NYK just said. Like, Deion Jones has no abilities, and he's like one of the most athletic linebackers in the game.
Well, here's another.
You can wonder the abilities in CFM. At least you can develop him, but out of the box, he doesn't have any.
I wonder about the two young linebackers on the Cowboys. Then
Vander Esch has an ability.
Nobody on the Cowboys should have any type of abilities except the choke artist.
Now let's be honest. Now that's some. Vander Esch has an ability, and Deion Jones.
Yeah, that's some shenanigans with the Cowboys roster.
Well, you know what team he cheers for. Just saying.
I know.
You cheers for the Cowboys, so aren't they like the second highest rated team in the league?
I think they're number 1, right?
Oh God.
No, NYK, am I
they're the second highest rated team in the game.
Okay, I thought
who's number 1? The Patriots?
I think the Eagles.
The Eagles.
Yes, the
what?
Because I knew number 1 and number 2 was either Cowboys or Eagles. I said
Eagles.
Yeah.
I feel like Soulja Boy right now. Drake.
Yeah, because the Eagles are 89 and I think the Cowboys are 88.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's crazy. Anything else y'all got for the Madden 20 stuff? I mean, I think I'm actually, pretty stoked about it. I really am too. The game. I don't really want to talk about it no more. And I did mute a little bit of Madden on my timeline, so I didn't see anything. Like I said, I got all the information through the direct message we have, and That's how I got it.
If you were playing Mute Gate, that's what you would
do.
do.
Listen, I've been doing that for the past week or so, and I'm be honest with you.
It was like ducking and dodging.
Here are the top 5 overall teams. The Eagles are 89 overall, Cowboys 88, Saints 87.
What?
Pats 87, Packers 87, Falcons 86.
I'm gonna say this right away. The Pats are too high. The Saints, I don't know what their damn defensive rating is for them.
82.
That's high.
The defense is an 82. The offense is a 92.
Jesus.
I gotta see it to believe it. I don't believe it.
I played against them, so yeah.
I would say I said one more thing the last time. One more thing, and just to answer Chris Thomas. Now it's funny when you're playing in franchise mode, you're not those players are not absolutely stuck on not having those abilities. Like what the ones that should have the abilities that everyone thinks, if they play well enough, their trait can change. Something in the scenario engine could pop up, which could create a situation where their trait can change. I remember experiencing that with one of my receivers, Paul Richardson. He had a good year. He went for 1,000 yards, had a great year, and all of a sudden he went from having no abilities to 2 route abilities. He had an in-out ability, and he had something else, but still,
yeah. You can tell the guys who you can build up to get the ability.
Yeah, I was saying, and that's a good thing because that's another thing that about Madden that nobody really talks about is the fact that you can do that. In certain Maddens, it feels like it even have abilities to begin with, let alone develop them into a player. So and that's great. Chris Thomas said that Levante David from the Bucks have no X factor or superstar abilities. That's kind of too because he's pretty good.
Yeah.
What you about to say?
And it's funny because I was actually referencing his tweet. I didn't actually say his tweet, but that's what I was referencing in the fact that don't worry if they don't have any of those abilities. Like they could be a title update, but then if you play them in franchise, if you perform well with them, it could be a situation popping up. So
the last thing I would say about Madden is we talked about presentation before. The one thing I was really pleasantly surprised by that a lot of people might not notice for a couple games is how improved the lighting is in every arena across the board.
Okay.
It's definitely a visual upgrade from that perspective, and it's during pretty much any time of day. The lighting has been really overhauled, so that's a good piece of graphical upgrade that we got.
Okay. See, I didn't really experience that. Like I said, I've been in practice the whole time during the beta, so that would be interesting.
IMV, oh god.
Yeah. He said I was muting my Twitter like IMV gaming. NY before we go to these athletes that we hate, what are your thoughts about IMV?
Honestly, I mean, there's no excuse for not knowing better at this point. If you got suckered into that, you only have yourself to blame.
Got him.
And those people know who they are.
Got him.
Yeah.
I don't know, Chris Thomas. I don't know. I think Joe Montana football has nothing on IMV.
At least we got Joe Montana football on mobile. We ain't even gonna get IMV.
They don't have a product. They'll never have a product, and no one will ever see their money ever again.
Like I said, they're back to selling bean pies. I said it months ago. Bean pies.
They're literally out here blocking people who's questioning what they're doing, and
pretty much.
I've never seen nothing like it. That's somebody need to call them up on charges. Like seriously, that's pretty bad. Like somebody needs to do something. I mean, did they probably have some disclosure agreement once they gave them money? Like, listen, we're not liable for anything that happens at this point. So, it's like you.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you think
you gotta be smart.
Come on, let's sit back and think for 1 second before we go to these next topics. You think about Joe Montana. You thought about that. What was that football game that Big Play Killer was talking about way back then when Digital Pigskin was around? You talk about that,
and we can't forget Smoothie Queen.
And you talk about Kyle Anderson. I mean, you look at all this stuff that's going on with this. I mean, these people. It's one thing to try to make a game like Axis and Maximum, but what are these guys doing?
They're preying on folks in our community that are so tired of Madden that they'll pretty much
they'll fall for anything.
Yep.
There's no way. Look, not even talk about let's talk the 2K football. The petition. Then they had another. Wasn't there another petition for Backbreaker 2 or something like that?
And it's funny every single time that the petition gets brought up, and it's just like I don't think to this day it's hit 1,000 people. Well, like we're going year 8 of it.
Right.
Like it came out 8 years ago. Those first 2, I remember I signed number 10 on the first one and 5. I think number 5 on the other one. So
I think it's a good time to bring up what you were talking about before, as far as people being where they shouldn't be.
Oh yeah, you know what's funny when people want to boycott a game.
Oh yeah, all right.
You know that's what they're all about. That's pretty much their Twitter mission in life.
And they're in every Madden stream.
Yep. And it's funny. You know the funny.
In every Madden chat.
Exactly. And the funny thing was, I was at some point in the stream. I have a little ADD. I was kind of zoning out a little bit, and all of a sudden, out the corner of my eye, I see this man's name, Gadden, just appear right in the middle of it. And he blurts out whatever he blurted out. VF, if you still have the screenshots I put up, if you can grab them real quick, if you're able to, put them up there.
All right, go ahead.
It was just like, it was just like, really? All this boycott Madden, wouldn't it also be about boycotting Madden if you just not appear in the chat?
That's
if
like
you're not all up in the chat.
You're
not taught.
Yeah, you're just talking way too much sense, DJ. That kind of logic goes right over those people's heads.
You know what he's doing? Mm-hmm. He's like, if you were gonna boycott McDonald's, but every day we find you in a McDonald's drive-thru talking to people outside. Why are you still eating this shit? Why are you still? That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing.
Right there.
Wake up! Yes, they aren't showing any gameplay. Think about it. Oh my god.
That's one of them. I'm gonna show the other one.
Yeah, because I think I saw it.
I'm gonna show the other one. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, if you
Strasburg just hit a home run. Oh shit!
I mean, if you don't like the game, and that's what I put on Twitter.
Nats.
Like, if you don't like the game and you got this big banner on your Twitter, boycott Madden 20. Why are you in these chats? It's like if you don't like the game, there's no reason for you to even be around.
Right.
Regardless if you want to sit there and tell me that this is the only NFL game out, this is why that doesn't matter. If you don't like something, I don't care if it's the only thing on the planet. If you don't like it, you don't deal with it.
Yo, here's my question, and we all know the answer to this. If a dev DM'd him and was like, "Hey, Gedden, here's a code," you think he wouldn't be on it?
He will be absolutely tricking himself out for a code without question.
Y'all don't understand. I mean, we know
because
tricks. I mean, I'm just gonna let you know. I'm gonna let you know that NYKia, he's basically an unofficial member of the podcast. Like he came here one time during the NFL draft, and he's here now, but he's an unofficial member, and he gets all the information that we go, send to one another through the DM. And with that being said, what was it, like 3 months ago or whatever, when Gedden basically admitted that he had Madden 17 has been playing it?
because that's because Gedden is the type of dude who will talk trash about Madden all day and then mess around and do something strange for a little piece of change as far as the damn fate is concerned. And he'll be the first one. It's just like I remember somebody called him out for it. They're like, "Well, Gedden, if you don't play Madden, how'd you know how Madden 19 operates?" And you talk about the stuff.
All these dudes are fans. I'm telling you, all these dudes are frauds, fans. Right. They're probably playing Mutt right now.
Yeah.
They love this. They love the game.
And we know somebody's playing Mutt right now, leading up to Madden 19. A certain 21.
And he'll be back in the hour with more content.
No joke. He loves the game. He absolutely loves Madden.
He has to.
Right.
And he don't play it as much as he does and not love it.
And this is the thing. There's nothing wrong with liking Madden. Just be honest about it. I have my gripes about Madden. My main thing is I want the game to play like football, and I hate when patches come in and ruin it.
Yeah,
that's my only thing about it. I'm not with this FEA or Save 65. If the game is altered to the way I feel like I can't play football, y'all guys know I'll go and play original Xbox and play old PS2 Madden. But I'm not about to stay and bitch about it all day.
You know what it is though? Is the fact that none of us are emotionally invested enough to put any.
That is the key. Thing right there.
None of us are emotionally invested
like bitches.
Yeah, none of us are emotionally invested enough to bicker back and forth with people about this, to tell people not to play the game. And on the other side, we're not emotionally invested enough to white knight for the game. We say, you put a good game out, we will buy it.
Regardless.
Period. Like VF used to say when he used to joke, I don't care if Captain Crunch made a game. I don't care if KFC, it doesn't matter. Listen, if you made a game,
I would care about Captain Crunch.
Oh, here you go.
At the end of the day, you can always turn the game off.
End up with a cut in the roof of your mouth because of that shit.
You can always, just like Kia said, you can always turn the game off, or you can not buy it.
Right.
To begin with. Because the same people that say, oh, it's the same as last year. You bought it last year, too. You're going to buy it this year.
Listen, after like Madden 15, maybe Madden 16, I was like, you know what? My virtual footballer channel, I love that channel. I kill that channel because it was like it was predicated off hate.
Yeah,
I don't play games to hate games, and I got tired of it. And it's like, listen, if the game's for me, I'm gonna let y'all guys know. If it ain't, I'm gonna do something else. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. And I don't see how other people are just dug in on this quote unquote hate for the game. I don't get it. Like Izzy just said right here. You can hate the game all you want, but why tell people to not like it? You can't tell other people exactly. You know, I don't get it. I'm
going to revoke your sim credentials
Hollywood
because you like Madden.
Well, there you go. I'm going to revoke it. That's what it is. Look at me. I have status in the community. I'm going to count how many videos you posted.
Dudes think of the damn night watch of YouTube.
Oh, of course. Like, wait, well, how many videos are you posted about the game? What are you doing to make the game better? Motherfucker, I ain't doing nothing to make the game better. I'm playing the game, and if I don't like it, I'm not playing it. I'm not out here trying to be the fucking sim head vigilante.
My thing is, like I said before, I definitely knew what we was up against. Definitely since, once these patches was coming in and ruining the game, and you had people trying to fix it with sliders, I knew it was up against a bunch of casuals, these people who want to play MUT, these people on YouTube that want to be a superstar on their channel and messing up the game of football. I knew. So with that being said, I was like, look, if you can get the game at this price, or if you can play it for this amount of time, you get a good game. I am so happy that this right here with this live stream today actually said, look, we're going to stick to our guns and keep what we have now. If you don't like it, you can find something else to do. That's all that we've been asking.
That's the big thing.
And that's what I've been preaching for the long. And I talked to DJ. Me and DJ had a conversation about it in the DM. It's like, once they realize it's an unfortunate situation, but there's not another football game out there. There's not another game with MUT for sure. You kind of are forced to play the game after you buy it if you're one of those guys that are like, oh, it's too hard. I don't like having to
figure it out or lose.
Exactly.
Yeah. But they're not, but like I said, they're not going to stop playing it because their status is at risk as far as the community that they're in and all the tournaments that they enter. Their status is at risk. They can't just stop playing.
Izzy just said, I'm going to talk about a couple of these people in the chat. Pete F said, there's none of us has anything in the game about lying about the game. Exactly. If we like it, we like it. If it's not, it's not. Izzy also said that they want us to just boycott the game. You can be a supporter and buy the game, just provide feedback. But some are bent on getting people not to buy at all. If they're fighting the wrong fight, they should fight microtransactions. I totally agree with that. Have the same energy to micro. You know what? Fuck the microtransactions. Just have the same energy of 2K not making up the APF. If you love 2K that much.
No, but that's the thing is the folks that are holding Madden accountable aren't holding 2K accountable for a reason. Like we've seen 2K get very complacent as far as their basketball game is concerned. I don't see Gettin making videos about 2K.
I don't see him making videos at all.
Oh, that's another thing. I don't see him putting tweets out about.
Oh, I see him making tweets.
No, I'm saying
I can't see anything because I'm blocked.
The reason we all know the reason he blocked you is because you ran cover 3 and he had no idea what it was and had to pause the game and look it up.
I rushed for 127 yards in All Pro Football 2K8 with a generic running back, and he couldn't handle it. Matter of fact, hold up, I'm gonna throw this out there again. I remember I ran a formation shift and he called a timeout. First play, game over. I knew he was done after that. But anyway.
I mean, listen.
Well, yeah, it's like they can't hold 2K accountable because it would go against everything they've said, which is that we want another game to come and compete with Madden. Okay, well, that company's ignoring you. Well, it's because of EA. No, it's because of the company ignoring you.
They can make a game anytime they want.
Anytime they want to. Anytime they want to.
They got a lot of money.
They got more than enough money. They put
out, Grand Theft Auto is still cashing in.
Just think about this.
They just put out another DLC.
Just think about
whatever reason they don't think they really think that 2K execs, they just sit in a room and never dawned on them that, you know what, maybe we should make a football game. We're just sitting on this massive market of people just clamoring for a game. But you don't think that those people they don't think that these people have figured out, you know what, if we put up an unlicensed game, it's going to sell maybe 2,000 copies. We're going to get killed. We're going to lose our shirts, and that'll be the end of it.
I'm going to step away for 1 second. I'll be back.
I'll be generous. I will say APF sold 400,000. I will say, to be honest, I'll say it'll probably give it 200,000. It'll probably do a little bit more than NBA Live numbers.
But here's the thing.
And I mean, it's not a knock on the gameplay. It's just the fact that nobody really wants an unlicensed game, to be honest with you.
But this is the thing, though. See, folks like using all that. Well, EA got the exclusive license talk, and it's a lot of money to develop a game. Let's not forget when Fight Night was ruling the boxing world, they put out a shitty ass game called Prize Fighter.
Yeah,
and it was a boxing game, and they had close to no licensing. The best fighter in the game was Joe Calzaghe. And they put that out, so they can't put a football game out when they have way more money. They've upped their profits by tenfold in the past however many years. Come on, man, it's exclusive.
I think
the only game we want to get away with it is PES, only because soccer is so huge globally. There's so many leagues that you can put in your game.
Right now, I mean, not yet. It's not that big around. I mean, football is not as big as we think it is, especially compared to soccer. It's not.
Like I said, if there was any time for them to make a game, it would be when you look at Canuck Play and Axis doing it. 2K could do it when they had the licenses for all these legends. They have a way better chance. They're just ignoring us.
I think at the end of the day, I think that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's really cost. And they feel like they're making money off 2K basketball. They're making money off wrestling. They're making money off all these other things under Take Two. They really don't need to make a game at the end of the day.
That's what I've been saying about 2K for the longest time, though.
Especially if it's an unlicensed game that probably sell less than 500,000 copies.
Well, we talked about this in another podcast. 2K is that company, and people don't want to accept it. They're the company that tuck tails and runs.
By the way, I'm back, and just by hearing that, we now have a playlist that you can go back and refer to it. So
yeah,
thank God for that playlist.
Anything else y'all got? Madden 20 news. We're all on the up and up. Yay. Ratings. Who cares?
I'm still just worried about the suits and the hand on the shoulder. That's still in the back of my mind. So until they can get past that first couple of months.
Yeah, I think that's what B5 put. He was worrying about the patches on the back end. And I think that with me being worried about it, the way that Clint came across today, I'm not really worried about it as much as I would.
I'm not based on how they voiced it today, and like I said, I felt like we said this in the DM. I felt like if we made it to launch day with the game that we got in the beta, we'd be fine. And I stand by that until they give me another reason to think otherwise.
Gotta fix those zones, though.
Yes,
gotta fix those.
Especially the deep zones. The deep zones, they definitely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna throw this to NY because I kind of know Bill's answer, and I'm curious about DJ Zone as well.
Well, I have a list.
Okay, so
damn.
Well, I don't have a list. I was making a list.
You planning on shooting these people?
I know the list from Dobie and Menace when he's crossing. I know, right?
All right. So it's like athletes that we hate. I know TD, he's in the chat. I appreciate him for bringing this up because this has been some kind of ongoing joke throughout our episodes. We finally made it a topic. NYK, do you have any athletes or a athlete that you hate or just pretty much dislike that's out here now? Outside of Ed O'Bannon. Please don't say them. We already know about him.
The captain of my hate team is one James Harden.
Okay.
Wow.
I cannot stand that man's game. I hate everything about the way he plays, everything about what he represents. I think he's a complete dog, a complete choke artist, a complete loser.
Choke artist. Jeez.
And I wish him nothing but failure in his life.
Oh no!
Wow.
Yo, he didn't even say his career. He said his
life. So NYK is invoking the Dave Chappelle player haters skit on this one.
I am the captain of the James Harden fan club. I am captaining that ship till it goes down.
That was amazing.
So is it the way he? Well, you already explained it. I don't even have to reiterate, but I mean,
I have a question. When did this come about?
I was about to say.
It came about, I would say, 2 seasons ago. I mean, part of it is the way that the Rockets play. Part of it is him with his flopping and his kicking out his legs, trying to draw fouls, and how he doesn't play defense at all. I think he's a video game player in real life.
Oh, that's well said. You know what? That's
what he is to me.
I see that.
That's
that's pretty accurate. I can see that.
Yeah.
Anybody else is just James Harden number one on the list. You don't have anybody else you want to head.
I'm not a big. I don't hate Westbrook. I'm not a big fan of him, but I don't say I hate him. But Harden is the one for me that I hate the most.
Same team too.
They're playing on the same team. I like the Rockets this year.
Again.
In the NFL, I dog Josh Allen out a lot. I don't like him at all. I think he's trash.
Jeez. Well, I do remember that. I didn't know that it was quite that bad, but I do remember you speaking about him.
I don't like Chris Conte. I don't know how he's still in the league.
Yeah. Now, every time he makes a play, I make sure to tweet you about that.
I don't like Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. That was going to be one of mine.
Okay, that's interesting.
Demaryius Thomas, he's on my shit list also.
Well, listen, my wife likes Demaryius Thomas. She's a Broncos fan. I got to leave that one alone. She still likes him, even though he's not even on the Broncos. So I'm leave that one alone.
In baseball, Chris Davis, that dog stealing money.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot in baseball. Chris Davis is one. I'm not a big Bryce Harper guy.
Yeah.
I don't like Clayton Kershaw, another choke artist.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Man.
That's really about it.
Jeez.
Oh,
DJ Bills, you any one of y'all want to go next? That's a
I don't know how to type.
That's a tough act to follow, yo.
Yeah, I'm about to say, you want me to follow up on that? I'll try. John Starks, number one.
Oh man,
you want to talk about truck artists?
We want to go one for time now. Wow, I can go on.
Oh no,
they said athletes. They didn't have to be active.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't say it. We didn't say that. That's right.
Right.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
John Starks, number one. I'm like, the whole claim he dunked on Jordan, Horace Grant, or whatever. I was just like, no, he just dunked on Horace Grant. Jordan just came late. But anyway, the man shot 1 for 16 in the NBA Finals when they really needed him to shoot well. And other than that, he's just outright annoying. Number two, Paul Millsap. Can't keep his feet to save his life.
Paul Millsap, leave that man alone, man.
And I remember when the Wizards were playing, like every power forward that was in that series got a chance to dunk on him, and he just, he's a bitch.
Wow.
That's the way he is. He's just built that way. He can't keep his feet, and he keeps getting dunked on. And what was it? Oh yeah, he just likes to play outside. He's not an inside forward. So, number 3 now, Bryce Harper.
Wow.
Now Bryce Harper.
Now it's Bryce Harper because first of all,
how much money he's making
his
again?
Team is not his right now. His team is in free fall status. I don't know if they won today, but how is it that without you, my Nats are doing better than your team?
Hey man,
how's that working out so
far? Man got paid and he was like, "Yo, I'm just gonna swing the bat when I get ready."
I'm like, how is it that a sports announcer was able to call out the fact that he was going to be batting around 240 something by the All-Star game? I'm like, the pattern was there. Yeah. But also, let's see. Does it have to stay to athletes? Because there's a lot in management out there. I hate Daniel Schneider. I
really want to stick to athletes. I really want to stick to athletes.
Well, let's extend it. Let's just extend it. I mean, there can't be too many people on the list as far as executives.
I hate the most is Charlie Weiss.
That can go left.
Notre Dame was still paying his fat ass.
Yeah, I know you guys are. Yeah, you guys are. Yeah.
Yeah, he had one good year, and they signed him to like a 10-year extension.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, I know Daniel Snyder is going to be on your list, DJ.
Yeah, Daniel Snyder is all-time. First of all, he's a Trump supporter. Second of all, this man tried to cut down a tree when the state of Virginia told him he couldn't cut down a tree. He did it anyway and just absorbed the fine. He can't run an organization and save his life. He ran Six Flags into the ground. He's running the Redskins into the ground. He keeps hiring his friends and his buddies in the front office, and the product on the field is piss poor. Attendance has been going down every single year. They used to average about 92,000 in attendance. Now they average around like almost. There are high schools in Texas that have more of an average attendance level than the Redskins do right now. So yeah, Daniel Snyder deserves all this smoke.
Oh Lord.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
What you got, Bills?
Okay. My list is I don't say it's fairly long. Not that long. So first off, let's just get it out of the way. Karl Malone's a piece of shit. Everybody knows I hate Karl Malone. Karl Malone is the scum of the fucking earth. He's a predator. He's a rapist. He's a deadbeat.
He was a predator. Damn.
I'm gonna buy you an old school Karl Malone jersey,
and I'm gonna piss on it. But seriously, it's like, fuck.
All right, R. Kelly.
Hey, fuck him. He's R. Kelly, older version. Anyway, number 2 is Zaza Pachulia. He does nothing on a basketball court worth of shit except foul people hard and injure players who are torching his team. He's unathletic. He has a face that's very fucking punchable. He injured Kawhi Leonard when they were going to lose that series, and Kawhi was fucking cooking them. I don't care what anybody.
That's serious. I think they would have lost that series too.
Of course they would have. They were losing in Golden State by like 25, and then he goes and steps, and it was clearly deliberate what he was doing. Like, oh, he didn't mean to. Whatever. Anyway, Chris Paul's number 3. He's a fucking crybaby, and he's a fake tough guy.
That's a good one.
Mark Teixeira.
He's up there.
I have no real hate for Mark Teixeira except for the fact that
he's one of the nicest guys in sports.
Look,
he said Mark Teixeira.
He said he was coming here, and then he messed around 2 days later.
Oh, that's why, because he feels scorned by him. He was going to be a Red Sox.
And usually I'm not a scorned fan, but
I forgot about that. Yeah,
he did do that.
That has scorn written all over it.
The Yankees used those 5 injury-prone ass years to their advantage. Anyway, next, Patrick Chung. He went to the Eagles and sucked when he left here, and everybody ordains him as like the savior of our secondary.
Yeah,
wow.
Patrick Chung sucks in coverage, and my cousin knows his girlfriend. I guess he's a nice guy. I don't give a goddamn. He does nothing on a football field that impresses me. He's a run support safety that somehow turned into the savior of our secondary, as if we don't have another guy called Devin McCourty back there. Every time Harmon comes in, he makes a play. Patrick Chung can't make a play. He only catches picks that are thrown right at him, and half the time he drops those. Anyway, Next is Aaron Boone. Another scorned Red Sox memory is him hitting that goddamn home run because we wouldn't take Pedro out, and then we mess around and put Tim Wakefield in, and he throws that dumbass knuckleball that goes slower than a car in a friggin' school zone.
Hey, the knuckleballs are good if you know how to throw it. Especially if you mix it up. Knuckle curves are good.
It was going slower. It was going slower than a fucking school zone car. Anyway, next. James Dolan. Come on, really? Do I even have to explain that? I'm not even a Knicks fan, but he's just a cunt. He kicked somebody out of the stadium, out of the arena for saying sell the team. He didn't cuss at him.
Not only that, you kick out Charles Oakley.
It's Oakley. Charles Oakley is one of the most beloved Knicks in the past 30, 40
out
years.
Charles Oakley.
That's the one. If you kick out a fan, okay, all right. He said sell the team, all right, but you can't kick out Charles Oakley. That's the one.
Well, and then I have a personal gripe with him as a musician because his band fucking sucks, and it sounds like the music he wrote was on the goddamn. Yeah, he fucking wrote some horrible music on the toilet with his piece of shit. So anyway, next,
Oakley was gonna give him those hands too.
I hope he does. Puts him in a coma. Next is Paul Pierce. I don't know why Paul Pierce is so overrated in the city.
You know what? The thing about him, the problem with Paul Pierce is he opens his mouth. If he was a guy that just shut up after his career was over, he would have been fine.
Paul Pierce is one of the most.
You know what Paul Pierce's problem is? He thinks that because he gravy trained that ring, he thinks that he's on Kobe's level.
Right.
Kobe and D Wade's level now. He thinks that he's their equal.
Yeah, all he had to do was to shut up.
Paul Pierce had 9 years to take as many shots as he wanted to and average 30 and never did, so he's bitter. So he wants to go and come at players who actually did do something with their careers outside of a big three, someone like Dwayne Wade. He wants to come at him. Every time he opens his mouth, he says something stupid. And if you look back at his Celtics career before KG and Ray Allen got there to save his sorry ass, he wasn't nearly as clutch as they made him out to be because he was busy getting 7 turnovers per game against the goddamn Pacers in the first round, and we get booted out. Then you look at the series against the Nets. Everybody wants to talk about that comeback game that we had against the Nets by 30 or whatever it was. Guess what happened the next game? He shot like 20-something%. Fuck that guy. Anyway.
Ryan Hollins.
Last but not least, I know he's not a player, but Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is one of the most arrogant.
Yeah, wasn't he a player at one time?
Well, yeah. Was he?
Did he play in the NFL? Or I got him mixed up with the other guy.
I highly doubt it.
I don't think he did.
I've been wrong before.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Mike Tomlin is he's an
underdog by a mile.
Hold on.
Yes.
Mike Tomlin is an understudy of Tony Dungy, right?
Yeah.
No.
It was another guy that's under Tony Dungy that played football. I can't remember. I must have got them two mixed up. The guy
You're thinking of Leslie Frazier, I think.
No, Leslie Frazier was one, and there was the other guy who was the coach of the Bucks at one time.
Raheem Morris?
Yeah, Raheem Morris. That I got him mixed up. That's what it was. That's what it is. Okay.
So yeah, not only like he says he's the most overrated coach in the fucking NFL, but I will never get over the time that this clown stepped on the field while Jacoby Jones was running back that kick, and then he had a smile on his face because he saved him a touchdown. Fuck that guy. And he's arrogant. Because every time that his team loses, it's never the other team's fault for playing well. It's always his team because they didn't execute. Fuck that guy. That's under my list.
All right. I guess I can start with mine, right?
Yeah, you need to start with the Atlanta Falcons.
I don't hate anybody on there, man.
You've never hated a player like in the history?
Come on,
like,
you had to have hated Eugene Robinson. We got busted for trying to.
No, that guy, the one the Super Bowl guy,
get his jollies for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Eugene Robinson definitely, but athletes that I hate.
God,
number one on my list really is Phil Simms. I can't stand that guy. I never did like Phil Simms. I didn't like him as
Wait a minute, I didn't hear that. Who did you say?
Phil Simms.
Oh yeah, I always thought Phil Simms was trash too.
Yeah, I thought he was trash. He's even worse as a commentator. I can't.
See, that's the thing. I thought you only hated him as a commentator, but this is a revelation. I didn't know that you actually didn't like him as a player.
I didn't like him as a football player either. I don't. You know what? He can go pick up trash ball I carry. I really don't like him.
Wow.
And his kid was garbage too.
Yeah, Chris Simms.
Chris Simms? Oh,
he was hot garbage.
Yeah, I mean now, as far as players, athletes, all right, I'm gonna give you a list of a good list of people. I'm gonna see if y'all can catch on. I like seriously. Another guy that he's a Falcons right now, honestly, Adrian Claiborne. I don't like him because he left the Falcons, went to the Patriots. He was a part of the 28-3 team, goes to the Patriots, wins a ring, and then comes back to the Falcons. And why the fuck would they sign him?
Hold on, I have a question. Did he go to South Carolina?
No, he didn't.
Okay, go.
No, he didn't.
All right. Yeah, I was about to say that's a long list of South Carolina.
Let's go on the list of the people I do not like.
Oh boy!
All right, we're going to start with I don't know if I should go in order. I'm just going to go into names. Steven Garcia. I don't like him. Fuck him. He played for South Carolina.
Steven Garcia. Wow,
I haven't
heard that name in a minute.
Yeah,
that's the name right there.
Another one. DJ Swearinger. Fuck that guy. He went to South Carolina.
Wow. I like DJ Swearinger as a player.
Yeah,
is South Carolina the only reason why?
Can I keep going?
It has to be.
No, I'm asking you.
Can I keep going? Can I keep going?
Go ahead, man.
I like J-Bo. I like J-Bo Shaw because he played for Georgia Southern, but his brother Connor Shaw, fuck that guy. He played for South Carolina.
Wow.
Basically, if you had anything to do with South Carolina,
this is like DJ naming off of
and the rest of your life.
But this is like DJ listing off a name of Cowboys, though. It's like, I mean, it's kind of a gimme.
Fuck them.
And it's funny because I didn't even mention anybody on the Cowboys, but I just don't like the team.
I don't necessarily have like certain athletes that I hate in football, but these guys, I cannot stand the South Carolina Gamecocks. I never liked them.
You know what?
Stand them.
You know what? I take it back. Cowboys fans, y'all can fall off a cliff.
They're not athletes.
You name it athletes.
Some of them are.
No, they're
they
not.
probably play rec league or something. They can all fall off a cliff.
Can I keep going?
Go.
Jasper Brinkley. Another one.
Man, you're naming some names right now, man.
Yeah.
God.
Cliff
Matthews.
Matthews.
Who's who of late 90s, early 2000s college football.
I know.
Cliff Matthews, another one.
Wow, really?
Arturo Freeman. Melvin Ingram.
I'm almost afraid that VF got bullied by these players.
I don't like him.
Melvin
This is a
Ingram?
long-ass list.
Come on, man.
Did they touch you in the wrong place?
How can you hate Melvin Ingram? He's never done anything to nobody.
Now I know the answer to this. All right, now let me stop for real. I don't like.
I can imagine VF holding the door and somebody asking him, "Where did they all touch you?" That's why you have him on that list.
Let's go. Like I said, the NFL. Adrian Claiborne is one I really dislike. Honestly, I didn't like what business, but I don't like how he pulled what he pulled. I didn't too much care for Percy Harvin. I thought he was overrated. I didn't like him.
It's like cluster headaches.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to shit on him for that. I mean, that's a medical issue. But I didn't like him when he played at Florida. I'm trying to think who else in college before I go to the NFL or the NBA. Jameis Winston, like NYK, I couldn't stand him. I thought he was very overrated in college. I had times I didn't like Tim Tebow, but he's all right. I think that's pretty much it in college. In the NBA, I didn't like John Starks. I couldn't stand Bruce Bowen. I didn't like Greg Ostertag. I hated that dude.
Ostertag.
Yeah.
No. You go.
No, I don't like that dude. I don't like it.
Because when I was roasting him.
Oh, I did it just to fuck with you. That's all I did that for.
Man, all right, go ahead.
Who else in the NBA? I mean, I don't necessarily hate that many players like that, like deep-rooted hate. I didn't like Craig Elo. I couldn't stand him. I really didn't like Craig Elo.
I feel sorry for him. I didn't really hate him.
No, I really didn't because he ran his mouth. Kevin Duckworth, I didn't like him.
Why?
Yeah, that's.
What did Kevin Duckworth do to anybody?
I was a bull.
Yeah, especially rest in peace, Kevin Duckworth.
No, I didn't got nothing. I'm not going to go
hating on the dead right now.
well, I think it's hypocritical. I think
because he's already there.
I think it's hypocritical to talk trash about somebody while they're alive and then not when they're dead. So I respect that.
I mean, I didn't like me. He played for the Blazers, and I mean, he was going against my Bulls, and I couldn't stand him when he played.
He didn't really do nothing that serious. He wasn't even a factor.
No one on the Blazers really did.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's really it. I mean, MLB, I didn't too much care for anybody like that to hate him. I mean, I just didn't have that type in me. You know, really,
I hated Ben McDonald. I know that was a guy I hated.
Ben McDonald, my God.
I have one to add.
My hate just basically went to the South Carolina Gamecocks team as a whole, that organization, everything about. I hate that team deeply. It's like when I was, I lived in Georgia, and even I always been a Georgia Southern Eagle. But I always had to hear it when Georgia played South Carolina. I always had to hear the bullshit, and they never was that good. And it made it worse when I moved to South Carolina, and I had to see it from my own two eyes. I cannot stand that team. John Abraham, I like. Marcus Lattimore. I had no problem with him. Alshon Jeffrey, Sidney Rice. I think those 4 players are great, but the rest of them, fuck them. I can't stand them. I really can't.
What did you think of Aaron Murray when he was at Georgia?
No,
he had a bit of a bow wow with him in big games too.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm starting to have a deep rooted hate for Georgia as well, the Bulldogs, because ever since, and I heard about it in the background when I was growing up, that they shitted on us as Georgia Southern Eagles, but when we came to the FBS. It got really bad down here, and they dislike the fact that we have some type of success in the Sun Belt. I'm starting to get that feeling with the Georgia Bulldogs as well. Like, fuck y'all. It's like y'all mad because we won 6 titles. Y'all haven't won since 1980.
They haven't done anything since. They haven't done anything in a minute. They haven't gotten over the hump in a long time.
Exactly. And then when they did win that title in 1980, our coach not Vince Dooley, but Irk Russell was your defensive coordinator. So it's like y'all success basically built off of what Georgia Southern is built off of. I can't stand. I'm starting to hate the Georgia Bulldogs. Now, that's why y'all don't really hear me talk about them anymore, because ever since we came to the FBS, they've been talking shit about us. And the only thing we did is won more bowl games than they have since we've been here. But
I got a question.
Oh, go ahead.
NYK, how do you feel about Mark Sanchez?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I don't think he was ever going to be great, but I think they ruined him a little bit. When he first got there, he had some success, and the way they built the team, it was built off of what? Defense, great O-line, great backs, run the ball. Yep. And when he ran play action, he was pretty darn good. Mm-hmm. He wasn't bad. Then after they got to their second AFC Championship game, they got rid of all the backs. They got rid of linemen like Faneca, and they brought in all these wide receivers like Braylon Edwards, and they tried to turn Mark Sanchez into Drew Brees. And you saw how that turned out. I think if they kept him in the type of offense that they were running, he would have had an okay career. He wouldn't have been an all-pro or anything, but he would have been like an Alex Smith type of starter, a guy who wouldn't kill you, but you could win 10 games with. But nope, they wanted to make a star out of him and fell on his face, and you saw what happened.
Yeah, because I remember in 2010, I noticed in the game after they beat the Patriots, they tried to turn him into this breadwinner as if he wasn't getting enough credit. And I think that was pretty much the downfall.
That was all the owner. Woody Johnson is just obsessed with having a star quarterback at that time. So they pressured management to rebuild the team into that type of image, and it was a giant failure.
Just to stay on the Jets.
And then came in Brett Favre, and Brett Favre broke down because he was, near the end. Mm-hmm. And then you had a bunch of nonsense until we happen to get Sam, and so far Sam looks pretty decent.
I was gonna say, just to stay on the Jets. Yeah, just stay on the Jets for a second. It got really interesting when Mark Sanchez ended up outplaying Geno in that preseason, and he got hurt.
Is that guy still in the league?
The last I remember, he was on the Chargers, but I don't think he's on there anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he's in the league anymore either.
But yeah, that was like a sign of the times with the Jets. Like once they basically decided they were going to start Geno over Sanchez, even before Sanchez got hurt, I was like, wow, really?
Hey, Geno had promise. He just got.
He did, but he got out. But the way I feel is, if you get outplayed in the preseason by a guy that we're trying to replace you with, I'm sorry, but that guy we're trying to replace you with needs to start. Or I should say, the guy that we're trying to replace needs to start.
Geno was ever that guy. I mean, that was a bad QB draft too. Geno and EJ Manuel.
And he went what, 20? Geno went 20?
Yeah, Geno went in the second round, I think.
Yeah, he went in the second round. Yeah, he went in the second round because he was still in the green room day 2. Because remember, it was like this big controversy asking was he going to come back the next day or something like that.
Shit.
But yeah, Braylon Edwards, TD. Braylon Edwards was garbage. He was complete trash.
Yeah, okay, let me ask you another question since we're on the Jets. How you feel about Antonio Holmes?
I didn't mind him. But again, the team was just built all screwed up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, around that time.
But when the team went bad, Antonio Holmes went south.
Yeah, he stopped caring. He kind of had the AB.
Okay, Geno Smith is on the Seahawks. Really? Who did that?
Oh God!
Why?
What is their love of like average backup quarterbacks? It was Tavares Jackson.
Hey, wait a minute.
What?
Man, don't slander Tavares Jackson, man. Don't do that, man.
Tavares Jackson's career slanders Tavares Jackson.
No, man. That man was built to be a backup, and he did it very well.
I mean, if that's a badge of honor, then okay.
Hey.
Two last players I'll add to my list real quick. Johnny Damon, fuck him. He left a team that basically was the key to all of his success, and he was barely a key to our success. He has a wiffle ball fucking arm. He went to the Yankees, cut his beard off, and was not really a focal point on that team either.
That's what I was about to say. Didn't he cut his beard? It kind of like killed his entire identity. Like he wasn't even the same guy after that.
The clown. and Jason Terry, fuck him too. He's another guy that talks a lot, but he's another guy that talks a lot, but he wants his teammates to back his talk up. Fuck him.
Yeah, he is kind of annoying. He's one of those guys who thinks he's better than he really is.
Yeah.
He's kind of like I'm trying to think of another guy that's an example of that. He's kind of like Sam Cassell was good, so I can't really say Sam Cassell later in his career. That's kind of what he was like. Just runs his mouth, and he's not as good as he used to be, so he has to have his teammates back up his talk. It's like, come on. But yeah,
you know what? I'm glad. We had that. You know what? I swear, this season, if I see some Georgia Bulldogs slandering my fucking Eagles, it's on.
They're gonna.
They're mad because
they have an axe to grind for some reason.
I don't know why. I mean, we won our bowl game. They lost to Texas. You know what? The motherfucking puppy's gonna get it. I got it.
Puppies.
I got it. Go ahead and let them play.
Oh, NY Kia. Speaking of college football, was it you that said Texas in the bowl this year?
Yeah.
Was that somebody else? Okay, it was.
Yeah, I said Texas just because everyone else is picking the usual suspects. I said, why not Texas? I thought, and I'm kind of bummed out that Charlie Strong didn't get a chance to see this through, but it's a classic case of, Strong doesn't win enough games, he gets blown out, and the guy who they come in, he benefits from his recruiting classes, combined with bringing in his own players, and I think they're close. I think they're right there. I think Oklahoma has a chance to be down a little bit. And I can see Texas win the Big 12. Absolutely.
I would like to see Texas get back to somewhat of dominance, a top 10 team, because it's just a good look for the state of Texas and college football, because what breeds down there, so it helps.
Yeah, because I was I know DJ doesn't watch too much college football, but I was gonna ask y'all
not one bit.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask,
especially with Florida State not really doing anything.
Yeah, last year was like a catastrophe. But I was gonna ask you two about Tua and Lawrence. How do you think Tua's last year and Lawrence's next year coming up? How do you think they're gonna fare?
I think Tua is interesting. So I think he got exposed a little bit.
Yeah, I'm about to say the same thing. I don't think it's going to be. It's not going to be lights out. I don't think it's going to be lights out like
he was overwhelmed by the talent he was facing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the way he bounces back is going to be interesting. I don't think it's a lot that he's the first quarterback picked anymore.
And like I said, even when them fucking puppies blew that fucking national championship game, he kind of got somewhat rattled in that game. So it's like
because they had to bring Hurst off the bench to rescue them against Georgia.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like Tua has the arm. It seems like he can move a little bit, but I think he's been rattled to the point where if he doesn't learn how to get that composure or kind of overcome that, you can like Wakia said, he may not be the first pick. He might not even be a top 10 quarterback.
He might be a product of all that talent.
Yeah, I agree. He has
so many games where they're just so much better than anybody else. They have a couple of games a year when they face Clemson or Georgia and sometimes LSU, and in those games he looked ordinary last year.
Right. I mean, not only in the SEC championship game, even in the national title game against Georgia, there was a time when he looked a little rattled when he first came in. It's just that you got a guy with all those athletes, and he has a cannon arm, so it helps with those athletes. But for him,
I'll say,
go ahead.
I'll say this about Bama. Like, there's only been a couple times in the Saban era that I've looked at them and thought, wow, they did not have the most talented offensive line in the country. And one of those times was when Texas A&M stomped into Alabama and Johnny put up 40 or whatever the hell it was.
Let's not talk about that guy.
Yeah, I know. But
had Myles Garrett on that team too.
And they had Myles Garrett on that team, which, I mean, come on. He's
Mike Evans. They had Mike Evans as well.
Mike Evans. So they were squatted. They had the running back, what was his name? Christine Michael.
Yeah. Was it Christine Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the other time was last year, because when they faced Clemson, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, they got one of the best quarterback prospects that I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Oh God, that kid is insane.
He just does things in college that I haven't seen a quarterback in my lifetime do just right away. As far as his reads and his arm talent is insane. Like, I think Lawrence, I think, is like, unless he suffers a letdown, he's a shoo-in for the Heisman this year. And it's one of those things where I know they have the 3-year rule, but he's so good. It's like, it's crazy how good he is at a young age.
I think he's very good, but I think he can go. But I mean, I think he'll still benefit from that third year.
Yeah,
I think he'd be fine.
I think Clemson has a shot at winning these next two. Like, with him as quarterback, the next 2 years they have a shot at maybe three-peating.
Think of all the quarterbacks they've had. They go from let's go back to Taj Boyd.
Yeah, Taj Boyd
there, and they have 3 years of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
now they're going to have 3 years of this kid.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Taj Boyd. Where happened that guy?
Taj Boyd. I was a huge Taj Boyd fan, but I knew he was really undersized when he came out of school, so I didn't expect anything to really come of it. But like in college, like I was actually like a huge fan of Taj Boyd when I was a kid.
Jets drafted Taj Boyd, believe it or not.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
God, yeah, they did.
They did.
Then he ended up on wait a minute. Where did EJ Man? He went to FSU.
No, he went to Buffalo. EJ Manuel was a.
No, I mean I forgot he went to FSU. I don't know why.
Yeah, he went to Florida State. Yeah, he went to Florida State.
Okay.
Doug Thomas asked, "What do you guys think of Jalen Hurts going to do at Oklahoma?"
I don't know.
I'm not so. I've never been sold on Jalen Hurts, man.
I never. Yeah, I'm the same. I never was sold on him either.
I was pleasantly surprised last year when he came in and saved Tua, but beyond that,
this is the thing.
Yeah. He doesn't throw the ball well.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a throwing offense.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. It's like with Alabama quarterbacks, I don't put faith in any of them. It's very hard to because of everybody's around them, and you already had a athletic quarterback with Jalen Hurts. It's like you can look at him and say, okay, he's that guy, but then again, it's like once again, like what Kian said, he cannot throw the ball that well. So it's like,
that's why I think he might get exposed this year in the conference.
He's a zone read RPO QB. He's a better Brandon Wimbush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like in a conference where it's points, you're going to be in a lot of shootouts. It's like I don't think he's coming equipped with the ammo that a lot of these other teams are going to be coming with. It's going to be interesting. Because, I mean, Kyler Murray, yeah, he can run, but his arm talent for college was amazing. So they're going from Kyler to Jalen Hurts. I don't know, man.
Kyler Murray.
I think he would have been better suited. Yeah, Kia, how do you think Kyler Murray's going to do this year?
I think
especially with all this crazy praise he's getting.
Well, that O-line is going to be a major problem. He's been running for his life a lot. I think offensively they're going to be pretty good because I think he knows the offense already. He's been running that offense since he was in 9th grade.
Yeah, I was about to say.
And they drafted a ton of speed. And David Johnson, if he can stay in one piece, will help. But I think he's going to be running for his life a lot. I think he'll be okay. I don't think he'll be great. I think it's going to be just how well Kingsbury can manage the NFL game.
So long term, do you think they'll regret trading Rosen?
See, that's the interesting thing. I think Rosen can play.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I do too.
I wanted Rosen over Sam.
I honestly believe that the Dolphins got a damn good deal for him.
I was saying back then, and I still believe he's the best quarterback of that draft.
Yeah,
I just think he is.
He kind of got hosed. He got hosed really bad.
Yeah, he did. I mean, but what can you do?
Yeah.
I just wonder whether Murray will be beat up by the time they get the damn team built. Because if he does have a weakness, is that because of his size, he bails out sometimes when he's under pressure and throws the ball up for grabs.
TD said Jalen Hurts.
They have one of the worst lines in the league. He'll be throwing the run a lot.
They do. I could see it turning into kind of like a Deshaun Watson situation where the line is so bad, it kind of stunts his growth a little bit as a quarterback. Because I would expect Deshaun Watson to be a bit further along at this point in his career.
The problem with Kyler Murray is the fact he was picked number 1 overall. I think that right there.
And they traded a quarterback.
Right. He does not go number 1 overall if he's not playing in that offense for that coach.
Right.
That offense is the only offense I can see him being good in.
Yeah. Right.
That's my issue with him.
Right.
Like Russell Wilson, I think he can play in anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyler Murray, I just think
I saw that. I
think he has to be in that system.
Yeah, and I saw that in North Carolina State before he even went to Wisconsin. I knew even with his size, you can tell that was the only problem with him was his size. He can play quarterback. You can tell.
I think the two things that worry me is one, he doesn't have a star tight end to kind of check it down to that's crazy reliable. And then when an injury-prone running back, it's like if David Johnson gets hurt, that offense is going to go to shambles.
Yeah, they'll be forced. They're going to be throwing the ball 50 times a game,
and Larry's going to have a higher usage rate as far as because they don't have a
play.
That's what I'm saying. It's ugh.
TD in the chat said.
I think you'll be okay, but I don't think the team's going to win too many games.
Yeah. TD said that Jalen Hurts is not even on Pat White's level.
Let me tell you something. Pat White was putting up numbers at West Virginia.
Pat White was a baller.
He was. He was.
Don't disrespect that man.
Yeah.
Steve Slayton was too. Then he got hurt and hurt over and over again.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think PF said, "How do you feel about Sam Darnold this year?"
Loaded. Pat White, Steve Slayton, Noel Devine. Those teams.
That wasn't Rich Rodriguez over there.
Yeah, that was Rich Rod.
Yeah, I was about to say
West Virginia was as high powered as it got back then.
Yeah, and Rich left went to Michigan, and it was all she wrote, right?
Kia Pete said, "How do you feel about Sam this year?"
I think Le'Veon Bell will help him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I can see Sam being in that 17 to 20 touchdown, 9 INT range.
Mm-hmm.
I think the receivers are good enough. I think it just comes down to the O-line being better because he was beat up a lot too, and a lot of that was because all the offense was in him. They couldn't run the ball at all. They had no check down options for him, so it was holding the ball up for a million years. Yeah. And Robbie Anderson was hurt for most of the year as well, so he got beat up a lot. I think Bell will help him as far as being able to run the ball. He'll have a guy who can run short routes underneath as well, and the receivers are better than people think. You can do a whole lot worse than Robbie Anderson, Anunua, and Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can do a lot worse than that.
I'm still upset for y'all that CJ Mosley went and reneged last second.
Yeah,
I mean, Anthony Barr.
Anthony Barr, my fault.
Oh, Anthony Barr. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he would have been nice. We haven't had an edge rusher since friggin' Johnny Abraham.
Yeah, I'm about to say Abraham.
He's a monster, man.
See, that's one guy from South Carolina I like. I like John Abraham.
I forgot John Abraham went there.
Yeah, he went to South Carolina. I kind of like. He played for the Falcons and did pretty good. I like that.
But yeah, Jets were stuck for years with fucking Calvin Pace and that was not a good time.
I don't know. I mean,
I can't wait.
Bust after bust after bust.
Can't wait.
I
don't know. I mean,
Jets' problem is they're not going to be able to cover anybody. Their secondary is brutal.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, like, who is your secondary since you said
I think isn't the best corner in the secondary like Buster Screen?
No, he's gone finally.
Yeah,
he's
gone.
Johnson's their best corner. Jamal Adams is really good. He's a safety though.
Yeah.
Other than Jamal Adams, the secondary is a friggin' burn unit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. Before we go, the reason why I got GameStop, that was a great segue to everything we went through from the athletes to actually talking football. We need to do more of that, honestly. But with football season coming around, we definitely will be doing that.
Yeah.
The reason why I put GameStop in the title, Kia, and I don't know how much you would have input on this, but the next consoles are actually going to have physical copies or physical disc in their console. So everybody said GameStop's going to die, but with that being said, with the new consoles going to have disc, I think GameStop's going to be around for a while. Good thing, bad thing. Do we care? I mean, I like physical copies, not too much for the newer consoles. I can care less. But is it a good thing that GameStop's still going to be around? Do anybody care? Yay, nay?
I haven't walked into a GameStop in God knows how long. I couldn't care less.
I'm in the same
get all your games digital.
I just look at it like this. They're pretty much just hanging on at this point. They've been hanging on for the last, I would say, 10 years.
See, that's what I was saying. But with these new consoles, like I said, with these new consoles giving you the option to use disc, it gives them life. They should have been going a long time ago. I agree.
Yeah, because you got other stores that are out there. Best Buy, the digital format.
Yeah, but Best Buy is going to be around.
Yeah, it's either Best Buy or digital, honestly.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what's there to go to GameStop for?
Right. Best Buy, I mean, you can get all type of other stuff, 4K TV.
I can find a used console there. That's pretty much it.
Right. I mean,
well,
if your PS3 decides it doesn't want to read NCAA 14 anymore, that's like the only thing. It's the only good reason for it now.
Yeah, but Amazon doesn't really. I know Doug Thomas just brought up Amazon. Amazon doesn't really give you an incentive. Maybe a slight price reduction. I remember Best Buy used to have the little gamers club, and when they got rid of that I think Best Buy took a hit at that point. But GameStop, they still have their pro player membership and stuff like that. You can get like incentives on their trade-ins, which unfortunately their trade-in policy is piss poor still.
I mean, I just thought it was interesting. There's like we're probably gonna have to deal with, like you said, those GameStop trade-in problems and GameStop. We're going to hear story after story about GameStop dying for the 20,000th time because of what's going on with the next PlayStation and the Xbox. I mean,
I don't see it improving for them.
No, I don't see that at all.
Status quo or worse.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was really interesting to have to think like we're going to have to deal with GameStop trying to dick us over for the next 4 years at the minimum. Bills, you didn't say anything. I'm pretty sure you don't care less either.
Well, if it's not digital, it's usually Best Buy, like folks were saying for me. The only thing with GameStop that's going to be interesting is the fact that with things like Xbox Game Pass and things like that, where you can get the older games, I still think GameStop's not going to make it through this generation because if PlayStation gets anything, they kind of already have something like Game Pass, but if PlayStation gets anything like that, I think it's over for them.
My thing is, I've gotten to the point now, and when I talk about physical copies of games, I like to see you get the entire package, but that's not happening with these newer PS4, PlayStation 5, or whatever. You're not going to get the complete package. Like me, I want physical copies of the older stuff I have. So at this point, I can care less about this whole thing. If it goes digital, I'm good. Most of the stuff I get is digital anyway when it comes to these consoles or whatever.
You also got to remember though, Amazon has a lot of those games, the pre-owned games that people would be wanting to get to. So it's like at this point, I don't know how long GameStop is going to hang around, but I can't see it happen more than 2 years.
I think Doug Thomas like the only guy probably in the country that pre-ordered Madden from GameStop.
I mean, I went in there to trade my PS4, and when they told me
how much did they give you?
No, I didn't give me shit because I walked out. It was like,
how much did they offer? I
think they said $179 for a PS4 Pro.
That's actually high.
That's gotta be $200.
It's gotta be $200. Yeah, but you're talking PS4 Pro and 2 controllers.
That's actually
$179.
That's actually high.
No, it's not. That's extremely low.
For GameStop standards, that's high.
Oh well, for them, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
because me personally, I thought you was about to say they were about to give you $110.
Oh no, I mean, if it was a regular PS4, they probably would have, but. I was like, fuck that. I'm
about to look that up.
I ended up selling it to my
I was
boy.
just curious because it's like this is something we're gonna have to deal with. You're gonna hear about some of these YouTube personalities still talk about this. GameStop is going away in 3 days or whatever. You're like, all right, whatever. I was just curious.
I don't think folks are gonna be able to predict it. It's just gonna be one of them things where they just kind of like slowly just wither away.
Yeah.
This console generation. They definitely don't make it through this console generation. I don't think they make it through a year of this console generation, to be honest.
Really? You think they're going to go away that quick?
I think that yes, because this next console generation is going to be backwards compatible, but at the same time, like I said, now that people know that these games are on Amazon and they don't have to go into a GameStop, they can just kind of order the games off of Amazon for a decent price. They're not going to be going to GameStop.
Yeah.
I mean, and GameStop's doing such bad business. Well, and then the other thing is they have an employee issue too, because nobody wants to work that like I had a job interview there like when I first got out of high school. And like
why you didn't take it? You could have stole their games.
I'm not a real life version of Pooh as opposed to the virtual version. But but no, it's like it's the stress of the job because A, nobody ever comes in there, and B, you still have to scan all that shit and like you're basically working retail. Is just, they can barely ever keep any, like every time I go in there, somebody new.
Man, I had my stint where I said, you know what, I'm gonna try to get some PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games for my collection. And I went in there like maybe 3 or 4 times. I remember I went in there, I bought the NES Classic, and I haven't really been in there since. That's how long it's been. I haven't gone in there to get anything.
If you go in there, it just seems dated. It's like going to.
It feels like you're going into a Hot Topic or something. It just feels.
That's what I'm saying. It's
weird.
Like for me, as a musician, it would kind of be like going into like a fucking like record store.
Right.
That's what it would be like for a gamer.
It doesn't feel like you're getting a good experience going in this place anymore.
No, it's not.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have anything else to add. I just wanted to add extra. I just want to know everybody's thoughts about it. Anything else y'all want to talk about before we go?
Do y'all want to talk about? We didn't really talk too much about the Lakers and the what?
Screw the Lakers.
Yeah, we're already.
Nah, yeah, that's fine.
And to be honest, I think DJ's right. I think the last 4-5 podcasts has been all NBA free agency stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we touched the NBA very well for the past month or so. But with this news that came out with Madden, I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm happy that Clint said what he said, and it looks like it's going to be, at least for the first month or so, it's going to be what it is, and what we got in the beta look like it's going to be tweaked upon in the positive light. And if you can't adapt, like I said, if you can't adapt, it's time to move on. You need to go play something else.
Well, I do have one last thing to say that is not 2K or Madden related. Neymar heading back to Barcelona is the chump's way out.
Is that a done deal?
It seems like it's getting close. I know they offered up Coutinho and somebody else.
Oh wow!
For him,
punk.
He's a complete punk. It's like he pulled a Kyrie. It's like, I want my own team. Oh shit, this is harder than I thought. Well, let's head back to Messi, and now they got Griezmann. So let's build a little soccer super team here. It's ridiculous. He used to be my favorite player too.
What was you here earlier in Wakia when we showed you that? Well, you already knew about in DM that Gedden was in the chat for the Madden stream.
Yeah,
I was in the stream when he was in there.
Okay, VF. I know sometimes during a podcast I zone out, but
no, it's not that. I thought he was
zone out.
I thought he was in. No, I thought he was. I didn't know if he was here when I put him up in the podcast. I know he was in the.
I think he was.
All right. Well VF, don't you have your unskippable ad to talk about the least close out?
I don't know. I don't even know why you be ragging on. Why you rag on money, man? Why you rag on money? We're trying to make money. You rag on it. You know what? You're not getting a cut. You know that? You're going to be broke.
Hey. I look at it like this. You just put out a video that featured their intro, which was a nice intro, by the way. And it's just sad that this is the week that we have to wait until the end of the show to get an unskippable ad. We 2K around here.
I just like the you're not getting a cut.
No, you're not getting a cut. You talking to day one about this. NYK, I got you.
Yes.
PayPal.
Wow. Who's next?
What?
Say what?
You know what? NYK can get a cut because he was saying every day, don't nerf pass rush, so he can get a cut. That's true. That's very true.
I look at it like this. I've added my PayPal. So
I don't see it.
I can cut the middleman out. I don't need the advertising to get money.
And Pooh gets nothing because he made a playlist and put it on his channel.
Yeah.
Right. You talk about pirating right there.
And he's a moderator. He ain't even in here tonight. Like, man.
Well, he's lurking. Yeah, he said he's in there earlier. It was like, yeah.
He came in.
He still ain't getting a cut, bro. We give him like a couple McDonald's ketchup packets or something.
Who fucking eats McDonald's? My God. Man. I ain't got no unskippable ad, man. Listen, intro champ, go there.
Oh, here we go.
Get your intro for your channel, man.
He has to squeeze it in.
Yeah, man.
It's contractually obligated.
DJ, these folks over here just trying to edit their lineups.
Yeah.
Got a 2K TV ad on the back.
Listen, man, get your intro for your video of your live stream, man. Link is in the description.
Oh boy.
I ain't got nothing else. iTunes, SoundCloud, good. NYK, man, you came out of nowhere. I appreciate you coming through.
Wait, TD, hold on a second. TD said, I've been to consecutive podcasts. Where's my cut? If anybody's going to get a cut, it'd be Doug Thomas and Chris Thomas. All right. If we're talking about consecutive podcasts.
It's like Doug Thomas. I mean, Chris Thomas been for like day one, right? Like,
yeah. And Doug Thomas was like day two.
I mean, even before we was live, he would be like in the comment section before we went live.
TD, you got a ways to go, bro.
And look who pops up in the chat after.
He really said that. We need gas.
We need gas. What are you talking about?
I don't know what Mighty Mango's talking about. Y'all know what he's talking about?
How do I play it early? You got to get
I think that's dependent upon if you have the EA access.
Yeah, it's on PS4, and
on
Xbox.
PC. On PC, right now, if you see, they have the higher edition, the one above the regular edition that you can play 3 days early. But then you also have on PC EA Access Premier, which you'll get that a good 5 days.
Yeah, I think
you'll get that 5 days before the actual release. So
you can't play right now.
No, you're not gonna be able to play it till probably late Wednesday or Thursday at midnight. Usually they put out EA Access games.
And can people stop saying, "Why don't they show the game? Why don't they show the game?" That's what the damn EA Access is for. There's gonna be tons of vids being posted that weekend.
That, and I'm tired of people blaming EA for not having NCAA game. You know who to go talk to.
But here's another thing. I hate to be that guy, but let's go back to 2K again for a second. There's been times when they've released and put out gameplay the day before.
Well, that's true.
Oh, yeah. That happens all the time.
So it's like, come on.
The days of getting sneak previews for free,
you're not getting it
a month before the game releases, or those kids are done.
There's only 2 companies that do it: FIFA and PES. That's it. You're not getting it from anybody else as far as sports games. That's it. It's those 2.
That's a bygone era, it or not.
Pretty much.
I mean, what's next? Well, when do we get a demo? Like, come on. That was gone in like 2012.
Yeah, I need to go find out when EA Origin is doing theirs. I haven't pulled it up yet. I'll sign into it later. Anything else y'all got?
When do I pick it up? July 3rd. Yeah, it should be July 30th at midnight, or maybe they might have it at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that's if you still go to GameStop. I don't know if anybody else.
Maybe
sure Walmart.
I know. Yeah, Walmart does it. Walmart does it at midnight. I'm pretty sure they don't do 9. GameStop does 9 sometimes, and Walmart
do midnight releases. Honestly,
they do it at 9. They do it at 9
releases anymore.
Okay. Well, they stopped doing them in Boston because of the police detail that they have to have here. So very few people do it. Very few stores do it. But Walmart always has it available. You know, if you go to a 24-hour Walmart, then obviously they'll have it. So,
all right.
I'll have it at 9. Yeah.
Right, so all right. So we did get that unskippable ad out the way, so we can start wrapping up here.
Real talking shit, huh?
I'm just saying.
All right, y'all. Next week we'll be bringing some more stuff. What is it? Next week is what, the 25th? 26th?
24th.
No, 25th.
25th is.
Now,
oh, yeah. 25th.
Ain't nothing special going on. I thought that Madden would be out by then.
Yeah,
so.
can't read. We can't.
Well, the EA Access will be.
Yeah, EA Access. I guess we'll have our thoughts about that. And anything else that happens in the week. Hopefully, we don't have to talk about any, Save 65 losers losing their mind. What y'all got? Anything before we go? Kia, what you got?
Nope. Hope the game does not get screwed up. That's pretty much it.
Amen to that.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Like to thank Kia for coming on.
Yeah,
always. It's a closed door, but you have the key policy.
It's like a lunar eclipse when he comes through. It's so rare. It's like
right. And it's like, y'all don't understand. It's like he has like direct access to the podcast at any time. That's how he just popped in just now.
Unlike some other shows, podcasts that they be asking questions how a certain somebody happens to get on without them being sent the invite or whatever. So yeah, that's
Cause we cool with Kia like that. That's why.
No, like I don't know how it happened, but he became an unofficial member, and we appreciate it. Like we appreciate him coming through and giving us his insight.
I will take advantage.
That's good to know. What you got, Bills?
Nah, man. Thanks for everybody who keeps coming through, supporting. We're clearly growing. We have, people in the chat, different people in the chat. We got some people popping up that haven't been here in a while, aka B5.
He was here last week.
Yeah, and then before that, he missed like 5 straight weeks. He was absent, but we ain't gonna hold it against you.
I mean, I would say 10, but
but nah, yeah. Thanks for the ongoing support. Doug Thomas and Chris Thomas and TD said he's gonna be here from now on out. So yeah,
King David even made an appearance on the live chat. He always does. Yeah, he always does a comment after. He listens to us after the live stream. I know he's one of them that do that. So
yeah, Izzy came through. So yeah, just thank you for all the support, and we're gonna keep on chugging. Pete came through. Appreciate it.
Yeah, he's always here. He's always here.
So yeah, we appreciate the support. We're just gonna keep trying to grow.
Yeah. All right. I mean, as for me, man, I've been making videos. I'm actually enjoying making videos again. Thanks for everybody who's been watching the videos. The IMV gaming video pulled a lot of attention, more than I thought it would be, but people need to know about those scam artists. I got more stuff going on that I want to talk about, sports gaming, personal thoughts. I really appreciate it on top of the podcast. Tomorrow, a little bit behind the scenes, I'm actually about to go talk to a company about making t-shirts. I'm finally going to do it. I have time to do it. Talk to a few people. I'm trying to get a little discount. Also try to get some wholesale t-shirt so I can get that up and running.
I thought you about to say hotel. I'm like, excuse me?
Right? Hopefully I get it up and running. I may be sending that through Amazon for purchase. I got a lot of stuff going on with that, a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So be on the lookout for that within the next, week or so. I'll get more information, but definitely I'm going to see about that. I'm trying to cut a deal to get that done because I don't want to go through Teespring or any of the. I don't want a middleman. Everything that we do, I want it to be us doing the work, us getting the profits, and us giving the best quality to you guys. Because I don't know what happens if Teespring doesn't do their job on their end, or whoever else don't do their job. I don't want you to have to go to them with customer service. It'll be me and my on my end as far as dealing with that. Other than that, man, thanks for the guys come through the podcast. Once again, we're still growing. People from Brazil, like the guy from Brazil from last week. I truly believe we're the best. We're the best, smallest podcast in the world. We don't get all the views. We don't get all the promotion, but we have the best content in my opinion. And I appreciate NYKia coming through. Hopefully he'll come through for more episodes. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.